of Islamic State militants. The talks come as fears grow for Alan Henning, a British aid worker who was abducted in Syria. Patient groups in Milton Keynes say safety is being put at risk as there aren't enough doctors in the new city. The pressure on the village practice in Middleton is so great it's converted a dirty utility room and toilet into consulting rooms. Tony Fisher reports.
The practice has just had to close its books to new patients for the fifth time since 2004. The patient participation group and one of the practice's GPs says the significant local population growth needs to be met and they've had no support from the NHS. It says it's working on expanding existing or developing new healthcare provision for GP services.
Police are trying to find the driver of a black Porsche which was involved in a fatal accident near Bedford. The accident happened on the A6 at Wixham's early on Saturday evening. A 33-year-old man from Luton who was driving an Audi was taken to hospital but has died from his injuries. Commuters on the Thameslink line from Bedford to Brighton will be travelling with train company Govia from today. It'll be running the line for the next 7 years, as Jane Killick reports.
Govia first ran Thameslink when British Rail was privatised in the 1980s, but lost the franchise in 2006 to First Capital Connect. However, First Capital Connect failed to stem the tide of complaints about overcrowded carriages and trains not running on time. Govia has been told it must improve punctuality by reducing delays by a fifth, to increase the number of available carriages and to keep them cleaner in future.
In sport, the MK Dons are third in League One after beating Barnsley 5-3. Elsewhere, there were wins for Luton, Stevenage and Wickham. Watford lost their first match under Oscar Garcia. And the weather will be cloudy with outbreaks of rain, turning brighter later. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.
Morning! Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Should probably have been opening up my computer system there instead of hiding in the dark to scare a member of staff. Sorry, Catherine Boyle.
Not happy.
Yep. We're happy though, aren't we, Kelly?
Yeah.
We totally scared her. All the lights off in the building. She was creeping downstairs. I put a hood on and I jumped out and terrified her.
It's a day in the life. I ducked behind the door and then I also jumped out and terrified.
Double whammy! Good morning, Vietnam! Lots coming up on the show today, including Anything Goes with PSC... So hang on. I'll do that again. Okay, I muffed it up. Okay. Anything Goes with PCSOs and watchdogs are livid. Was that good?
Yeah.
Okay, she writes this stuff. The doctor will see you in the loo because his patient list is massive. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And a furore over hardcore mansions, the cheeky house name that's getting councillors hot under the collar. Justin Dealey doesn't see anything wrong with it, so they probably have a point. That's actually made me lol. Yeah, okay. If you want to take part in the show, well, you can.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three
I tell you what,
Radio.
There is no chance at all I'm going to play this.
Oh.
Worst band in the world. Luckily, I have a CD. Now, we're big fans on this show of Doris. You remember Doris? She does...
How can we forget Doris?
She's the Swedish singer who did a great version of Film 94. Ow. I've got the Doris album now. Now, it's hit and miss. It's hit and miss.
You don't say.
It's a little bit... Let me get... one of my favourite songs. We won't play this today. Maybe we'll save this for another day. Oh, it's... Hang on a second. Hang on a minute. One of my favourite songs in there is a song called Benny Law. Where, because it's Swedish, they're Swedish, but they're singing English. They don't quite understand English. Have a listen to this. It's a good start, huh? But then listen to the words.
You've heard of Benny Law?
No, we don't. You've heard of Benny Law? No, we don't. You've heard of Benny Law? No, we don't.
We don't heard.
But no, listen to this. This is genuine. What's song, Kelly?
I don't heard it. That's real.
Yeah, it's a real song.
Excellent.
Maybe we will play this one. I don't know. Here we go.
You've heard of Benny Law?
No, we don't. But we're not going to play that one.
We don't heard it.
The whole album is kind of a treat. Apart from this one, Won't You Take Me to the Theatre? This is awful. You ready? Here we go.
Won't you take me to the theatre just today?
My birthday.
Just for once it could be fun to see a play.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, won't you say that you wouldn't object to a spectre?
She's in that voice for.
I don't know. Because she's got quite an all right voice. And then she goes on to talk about the plot of Macbeth.
Oh.
No, but that's not the song we're going to play. Instead, what we're going to play is...
She wants to sing Macbeth on her birthday.
Yeah, I know.
What kind of masochist is she?
That's macabre. We're going to play this one instead. Here we go.
It's the same one.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've heard of Benny Law?
No, we don't. Oh, we won't play that one. Hang on. We'll start the show properly.
Will you please just put one on?
Oh.
Make a decision.
Okay. All right, nut cut. Here we go.
Did you give the world some love today, babe? Did you give the world some love today, babe? Well, you gave me lots of love, that's true. You give the world some love too. You give the world some love today, babe. When you saw a weary man, were you quick to realize the thing he needed most was a kind look from your eyes? When you saw an angry face in the faces that you scanned, did you soften it a bit with a flower from your hand? Or your heart is always full of love, babe, and you gave me lots of love today, babe. Will you also keep the world in mind? Tell me what you did for all mankind to give the world some love today, babe. Everybody in this world has to do a whole lot more than love the one they spend a lifetime looking for. You just can't keep your love in a cozy little shell. Gotta love the one you love and the whole darn world as well. Everybody in this world has to do a whole lot more than love the one they spend a lifetime looking for. You just can't keep your love in a cozy little shell. Gotta love the one you love and the whole darn world as well. Gotta make this one big loving world, babe. Help to make this one big loving world, babe. You gave me lots of love, that's true. You give the world some love too. You give the world some love today, babe. Did you give the world some love today? 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 Did you give the world some love today?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Tim Wheeler.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's a matter of time.
Oh, wow! Someone's feeling super confident because they had a super confident nut cut at the weekend.
I'm not. I'm what's called styling it out.
You've had it all lobbed off.
Yeah.
G.I. Jane styling.
Well, not quite.
Looks good, doesn't it, Kels?
It feels a bit Lego.
It looks good. You could clip a builder's hat onto there and no one would ever notice. 08459 455 555. Now, police watchdogs are concerned that the way PSCOs... Is that the right way round?
No, PCSOs.
Then why does it say PSCOs?
Well, I was just expecting you to use your initiative.
Well, I know, that's... Yeah,
hang
OK.
Hang on, stop, and... Hang on, and... Now.
Thank you. Police watchdogs are concerned that the way PCSOs are being deployed is making them, at best, a bit of a joke, and at worst, totally out of their depth. Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary found that Hertfordshire's community support officers have been investigating crime, something that they haven't been trained to do. Meanwhile, we've been told that PCSOs in Buckinghamshire are going to be delivering fish and chip suppers to the elderly tomorrow. You see the concern there, Just?
Absolutely, yep.
You've been out getting the word on the street. Where was the street? What was the word?
Yes, and the word is not great when it comes to PCSOs. I've been in Bedfordshire, where, of course, they're going to be given extra powers. Here's what people had to say about them, boss.
As far as I'm concerned, they can't do nothing. They ain't got any powers. They can't arrest you. They've got about as much power as me and you. As I'm talking to you right now, like you arresting me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you can do a citizen's arrest. But anyone can do that. Yeah. PCSOs, I had one instance where I had a fight and I got beat up pretty bad, and a PCSO just rode past on his bike and didn't stop it or nothing.
Are they pointless?
I think they are, because all they can do is walk around and call for backup for a real police officer. That's it. Do you know what I mean? What is that? That's not a job. If that's a job, then boy, I'll be a PCSO.
So, as somebody who lives in Bedfordshire, well, what's your thoughts on PCSOs?
Waste of money. They've got no rights to arrest or anything like that. Why have them? It's cheap labour.
So they don't reassure you at all?
No way at all. No way at all.
No, they're just people that walk around with a uniform on. They've got no powers whatsoever, really, have they?
I mean, everyone's saying exactly the same thing to me. So, are they completely pointless in our society right now, then?
Why not train them up and make them into real policemen? And then the crime will go down.
Damien, when you think about PCSOs, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
A plastic police officer, really. Not somebody who can actually do their job properly, because all they can do is hold you until certain police officers can actually come. So I don't really respect them too much, to be honest.
Well, not a lot of confidence or indeed respect there from the man on the Clapham omnibus. Tell us more about the HMIC's concerns, Just.
Well, their research suggests that there's a significant variation in the way that PCSOs are used by police forces across England and Wales. Hertfordshire was one of the 17 forces accused of overusing PCSOs. Now, by that, Iain, I mean they're being asked to deal with situations they simply haven't been trained for and which are outside their role in the eyes of the HMIC. We're talking about incidents here which would normally require some form of police investigation.
What's the response from Hertfordshire Police?
Well, they're not denying it. They confirm that the PCSOs have been working in situations above their role and training, but they stand by their decision and say PCSOs are working alongside regular police officers as part of safer neighbourhood teams, and they are popular and vital members of the policing family in Hertfordshire. Now, they may say that in Hertfordshire, of course, but people we've been talking to in Bedfordshire totally disagree with that statement.
Well, but what about the Bedfordshire Police and Thames Valley Police? What mention do they get in this research?
Bedfordshire get a gold star, Iain. They get one. They're among the forces using community support officers in line with their role and training. This might... there'll be an interesting word on the street. Bedfordshire about to give PCSOs new powers to help fight antisocial behaviour from October. That's happening on the 20th. Sounds pretty exciting. Chief Inspector Gavin Hughes-Rowland, he's from Bedfordshire Police, and he'll be telling us a bit later in the programme what those powers actually mean.
Thames Valley Police?
Well, as you mentioned, some of their duties might need a bit of a rethink. A few of their PCSOs will be used to charm some of the MK Mort citizens this evening by delivering fish and chips.
Goodness sakes. What should PCSCs be doing, Justin, apart from obviously clogging up old ladies' arteries?
Government guidelines state that PCSOs can give a fixed penalty notice to people caught dropping litter. And they can also demand the name and address of someone suspected of antisocial behaviour.
I demand to know your name! No. OK.
So looking
Move on!
Not a lot. According to the HMIC report, some forces are sending PCSOs as a response to 999 calls when they were only ever intended to provide a visible presence and reassurance that you get with bobbies on the beat. HMIC, they say this is inappropriate, and it's recommending that all forces should ensure that PCSOs are used in the way they were intended, of course, by the end of this year.
Dealey, thank you very much. Can we speak to you at about 10 to 7?
Sounds good to me.
I want to get hardcore with you.
Yeah, let's get hardcore.
All right, fella.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, Ian. The M1 is completely blocked northbound. A number of vehicles involved in an accident. One's a car that's overturned in the outside lane. Junction 11 up to 12, so the bit from the A505 Luton and Dunstable turn towards the Toddington and Flitwick turn. Traffic stationary on the approach, looking very slow southbound towards and past the scene as well because of onlookers. Now the M25 starting to queue already anti-clockwise, section between junctions 26 and 25, so going through the roadworks between Waltham Abbey and the A10. A little bit busy on the A405 at the Park Street roundabout as well. Other local routes not bad so far this morning. Train services locally doing okay. If you're going down to London, the Northern Line's had overrunning engineering works. They've just managed to get most of it up and running, but with severe delays. Russell Holding, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. Right, it's 6:17. It is Monday, the 15th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. An official report says there's confusion about the role of PCSOs across the three counties. It's being claimed a lack of GPs in Milton Keynes is putting patient safety at risk. And police are trying to trace the driver of a Porsche who failed to stop after a fatal accident at Wixham's.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
What's Roberto been up to?
Every weekday from 3, Roberto Perroni.
Are league tables the best way to judge a school? Pal, do you have any sympathy for the Buckinghamshire golfer Iain Poulter? Police are issuing safety advice to women in Watford, but I'm fascinated by the age gap between her and her husband. Figures show that around £500,000 was spent in Hertfordshire last year clearing up after people who dump rubbish. Then you just take them.
Roberto Perroni.
There's been an extraordinary reaction on social media. My big concern is that no one ever worries about the victims. The whole system is designed to help the criminal.
Roberto Perroni. Weekdays from 3. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Catherine Boyle joins me in the studio to talk about something very, very serious, but we're going to play a song before we do that, but I'm going to find a song before we do that. I was heartbroken at the weekend. The final of Big Brother, and I've been bigging up Gary Busey, the American actor, the whole way through, star of the Buddy Holly story, and
You defended some of his rather erratic behaviour.
Yeah, boy oh boy did I do that. And I had been carrying a Gary Busey DVD in my bag for 3 weeks that I was going to get him to sign. Right. And I told everyone I was going to get him to sign it. The moment came on Friday. I saw him. He was having a microphone applied to his person.
You thought, this is the moment.
This is the moment. This is the moment. He's come out of the house. He's got his own microphone. He was just stood there having a microphone attached to him. I got my DVD out, took the cover out, had my Sharpie pen on hand. Gary, would you sign my Buddy Holly story DVD, please? No, I'm not going to sign that now. Wow, no.
Did he mean later?
No, what he meant was never. He Al Jardine'd me. No, I'm not going to sign that now.
Oh.
He didn't even look at me. Didn't even look at me. I was gutted.
When you're massive, you'll never do that, will you?
Sorry?
When you get massive, you'll never do that, will you?
I don't sign autographs anyway.
Don't you?
No, I
don't.
don't.
You do.
No one asked me to.
Carry a pen round with some pictures.
I've got a stamp. No, but I was gutted. How embarrassing. I know we've done this before. It's always a nice one to do. When have celebrities been massive divvies to you? Thank you very much indeed. That's the word I was looking for. When have celebrities been massive divvies to you, please? 08459 455 555. I was gutted.
It must be a stomach-turning moment. It would take me an awful lot to go up to someone and ask for an autograph.
Yeah, I never get nervous about the idiots on Celebrity Big Brother because they're always idiots. But I thought, Gary, I'm genuinely quite a fan of. And,
wow.
Should we have the Beatles?
Yeah.
Why not?
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Living is easy with eyes closed. Misunderstanding all you see. It's getting hard to be someone, but it all works out. It doesn't matter much to me. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. No one I think is in my tree. I mean, it must be high or low. That is, you can't, tune in, but it's alright. That is, I think it's not too bad. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Always know, sometimes think it's me, but I know when it's a dream. I think I know, yes, but it's all wrong. That is, I think I disagree. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Strawberry fields forever. Strawberry fields forever.
I'd forgotten this song was actually quite turgid. It's not the fun romp through psychedelia I was expecting.
They were enjoying themselves, though, weren't they?
Well, they were enjoying themselves, yeah, that much is true. I mean...
Good for them.
My mum stopped liking the Beatles about 3.5 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
That was when she got turned off the Beatles.
Oh, no, not for me.
Yeah, not for me, please. More Jerry and the Pacemakers, please.
I liked them beardy.
I like them when they... can I say this? Yeah, I like them when they discovered drugs.
This was about then, wasn't it?
This was just about then, I would suggest, guys.
See,
now...
Horses for courses.
Speaking of drugs, a GP surgery in Milton Keynes has had to convert a dirty utility room and toilets into consulting rooms to deal with overwhelming demand. The Milton Keynes village practice has just had to close its book to new patients for the 5th time following the local increase in population and the closure of the nearby Willen surgery. Patients' groups are concerned that the situation in Middleton shows there aren't enough GPs in the area and public safety is at risk. Catherine Boyle can tell us more. What are patient groups saying?
Well, the patient participation group at the Milton Keynes village practice in Middleton says it's very concerned about the situation and it believes that patient safety is being compromised. It says tremendous demands are being put on the village practice and there's not enough primary care support in the area. And there's also a failure to appreciate the scale and speed of local building work going on and the growth needs to be recognised and met. And they're also saying that although the practice works extremely hard to meet demand, it fears that some people may be waiting too long when they're suffering with certain conditions.
A doctor working at the practice is so upset and annoyed by this, he's written about it in medical journals, hasn't he?
Exactly, and that reference to a dirty utility room and toilets being converted comes from this Dr Darren Moore, who we'll hear from later on in the programme. He's written articles in the BMA and also for Pulse, which is a newsletter for GPs. Since 2004, they've had to close their books to new patients 5 times for safety reasons, just because they're oversubscribed. The 4th closure only ended in April this year, and the books were open for a record 18 months.
Gosh.
So since April until their final closure just now, they have had 1,000 patients join them, which kind of tells you the thing they're dealing with. Darren Moore says that they're currently oversubscribed with just over 14,000 patients. They have 6 full-time GPs, so each one of those is responsible for 2,300 patients.
Blimey.
Now, the national average is 1,800, and the average for Milton Keynes is 2,000. So you can see that in Milton Keynes across the board, we're dealing with something extraordinary. Although there is pressure on many surgeries across Milton Keynes, Dr. Moore says that theirs is one of the worst affected. And he points to the house building going on in Oak Grove and Broughton, and the fact that Willand Surgery closed down over a year ago. You remember that? Because patients were turning up for their appointments or to try and make appointments, and seeing the posts sort of piled up behind the door.
So the GPs are strained, and the building itself is running at full capacity, it would seem.
Yeah, Dr. Moore says that practice premises are new by most standards. They were built in 2003, but it was designed for 4 GPs and a registrar. So to meet demand, they now have 6 GPs, as we mentioned earlier, and 2 registrars in the same space. And to accommodate this, they've moved all administration upstairs and based a GP in a room originally designed as a base for district nurses, while at the same time they've had to convert 2 storerooms and a dirty utility room and a toilet into consulting rooms. The short of it is, according to Dr. Moore, that they're operating in a building well above its design capacity in an area of significant local population growth. And so far, they've not had any help from the NHS to support them.
What does the NHS say about this?
Dominic Cox, the Director of Commissioning for Hertfordshire and the South Midlands area, NHS England, told us this. NHS England in Hertfordshire and the South Midlands is committed to ensuring patients have access to high-quality primary care services. We've had regular meetings with Milton Keynes Council's Planning Department and Milton Keynes Clinical Commissioning Group to review proposed and planned new housing growth. This includes the development of a primary care strategy which will be designed to meet the healthcare needs of local communities, whether this includes expanding existing or new healthcare provision for GP services, dental and pharmacy services. Willand area is part of the planning for healthcare provision. We believe it's fairer to allocate funds based on the numbers of patients practices serve and the health needs of those patients. So nothing really when it comes to this surgery.
When they say a dirty utility room, I'm assuming they've cleaned it.
Oh, yes.
I'm assuming it was dirty and now it is clean.
Or are they talking about dirty in terms of, in medical terms, when they'll say it's not absolutely sterile? Is that what they mean? In any case, it doesn't sound best, does it?
We're speaking to Dr. Darren Moore.
You can ask him what he means.
I'm going to ask him exactly what he means. Would you like to stick around for the newspaper review just after the travel and news?
Go on then.
Yeah, why not?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off this morning on the M1 heading northbound, close at the moment between junction 11 at Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick. There's been an accident there causing delays on the M1 as well heading southbound as people slow down there. Got a call in at the moment from Mark saying that the A1M is blocked heading southbound just around Stevenage. We believe that's due to an accident. We will find out more information. The M25 heading anti-clockwise, queuing on the sensors at the moment between junction 26 for Waltham Abbey and junction 25 for Enfield. And starting to look quite heavy in Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road at just around junction 21A for the M25. So far on the trains, everything seems to be running rather well. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: a report into the role of community police officers says there's significant differences in the way they're being used. Her Majesty's Inspectorate says in Hertfordshire, PCSOs are being used to investigate crimes, while in Buckinghamshire they're being used to take sheltered housing residents their fish and chips. Patient groups in Milton Keynes say safety is being put at risk because there aren't enough doctors in the new city. It's claimed that the pressure on the village practice in Middleton is so great it's converted a dirty utility room and toilet into consulting rooms. Police are trying to find the driver of a black Porsche who on the A6 at Wixham's, which crashed on the A6 at Wixham's. A 33-year-old man from Luton who was driving an Aldi was taken to hospital but has died from his injuries. The weather will be cloudy with scattered showers today. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, that's 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Football first, and the MK Dons hope midfielder Mark Randall will sign a new contract this week. He played in their 5-3 win at Barnsley, which lifted the Dons up to third in League One. Manager Carl Robinson says they want to conclude a longer deal with Randall and some other squad members.
Hopefully we'll be signing a new contract, hopefully this week. I'd like to sit down and give him a new contract, a longer term contract, because he's given up an awful lot to be here, and we're trying to get that sorted. And one or two other new contracts, hopefully we get sorted over the next few weeks.
Elsewhere, there were wins for Luton, Stevenage and Wycombe in League 2. Watford lost their first match under Oscar Garcia. All of our Football League sides are in action tomorrow night. In the Premier League, Manchester United beat Queen's Park Rangers 4-0 to get their first win under Louis van Gaal. The United boss says the victory is cause for double celebration in his household.
Now, this is special because it is also the birthday of my wife. I have already given a present to her, but she said this morning the biggest present shall be the victory, and we give it to her.
And in golf, Rory McIlroy missed out on winning the PGA Tour Championship in Atlanta, and with it a £6 million bonus. A disappointing final round saw him finish in a tie for second place, 3 shots behind the winner Billy Horschel of America. BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 7 o'clock.
Toby Friedner.
On the BBC in Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Time. Won't be long.
What? That was awkward. So I'm trying to find a Mamas and Papas song, and Kelly's really letting the side down this morning. Kelly,
Hiya.
I want. Which one did I want?
You want Glad to be Unhappy?
Glad to be Unhappy by the Mamas and Papas, please.
Yeah.
It went to number 23 in the charts.
Yeah. Do a little search for Mama, and then I just searched the title Glad, just to make the search quicker.
Okay.
Your search has found no results.
Why don't you just search the title?
Search the title. Thanks, Kath.
That's a good idea.
That's what needed, the voice
Glad
of reason.
be-
Nice haircut, by the way. Bit drastic. Brave.
Oh, that's what they said in the salon.
Yeah, we've got it.
So you have got it?
Yep. It's quite short, isn't it?
We just had... The last 3 minutes we've just spent literally arguing. I was right.
Yes.
Should we play it?
Well done. Yeah, give me a minute. Hang on.
Well done, me.
Well, no, well done me, because I persisted.
No, you just...
Hang on.
Clash of egos, and then I just sort of brought a bit of...
So you're having your hair cut, and they said in the salad... What did they say?
I took a picture as well. I took a picture of the before and after.
Are you going to be up on the wall?
No, I think she's using me for an assessment.
Oh, gosh, someone's going to get fired. Someone's going to be disciplined. This is not how we do it.
Yeah, so I'm having my hair cut, and people haircutting professionals, stylists and the like,
Barbers.
coming up and going, oh, you're brave.
Did you...
As they were washing my hair, haven't you got lovely long hair? I went, yeah, it's all coming off. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get a discount for having your picture taken?
No.
Oh.
Should have, shouldn't I?
I would have negotiated that. And then your mother said something rather...
she said it made me look old. Ouch. Ouch, Mum.
That's going to hurt, isn't it?
Yeah, it really did hurt. Especially at that moment when you just had it done and you're kind of waiting for other people's reactions because you're not sure yourself.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Kelly Betts.
The song you requested, sir, is now in.
Glad to be Unhappy?
Yes.
The one we didn't have?
Yep.
Thanks very much indeed.
Fools rush in, so here I am, awfully glad to be unhappy. I can't win, but here I am, more than glad to be unhappy. Unrequited love's a bore, yeah, and I've got it pretty bad, but for
Let's put it out there. When has a celebrity refused to sign something for you? Scott Balcony has tweeted, I went up to Graham Coxon, he's from Blur.
Yes.
In the Spread Eagle, that's a pub.
Yes.
In Camden, that's an area of London.
Yes.
And asked for his autograph. He said, blimey, mate, it's Sunday!
Oh, is that the rule?
He actually said he blasphemed, but still. 08459 455 555. When has a celebrity refused to sign something for you? Don't take long. Come on, guys. You're just writing, you're slapping your John Henry down on something.
My what?
Your John Henry.
What's that?
That means autograph.
Why? Why is it called that?
Can I just say...
You will anyway.
Right. Let's stop calling this fella Jihadi John, right, because it kind of normalises him and makes him sound like a cute character, when actually he's going around murdering people in the desert in a really barbaric way. So let's not refer to him as Jihadi John. And
Do we know it's the same fella?
Well,
they seem to.
They're going by the eyebrows and the veins in his hand. All right, guys, brilliant. Yeah, we are tracing him down. We have identified the veins in his left hand. All right, okay, yeah. It's only just a matter of time. And David Haynes, who was murdered at the weekend, he's got 2 kids, 17 and 4 months. Why are we not paying the ransom for these guys? Go pay the ransom. It's £1 million. Go pay it. Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Pay the ransom.
But then they'll keep doing it. And what they spending
They're going to keep doing it anyway. Now they're going to murder a bloke called Alan Henning. They're going to keep doing it. So pay the... You know the Italians pay the ransom.
Do they?
There was an Italian hostage.
They're well known for their fortitude in war, aren't they?
There was an Italian... No, I think it's a brave thing to do. There was an Italian hostage being held as part of this group. Oh, and suddenly he's been released. The French pay ransoms.
Why don't we send in the SAS to open up a can of whoop thingy?
You can say whoop-ass. Oh, no, you can't. The SAS are probably there already. Aren't they? They'll be there already. They'll be somewhere in that region. They tried to rescue David Haynes a while ago, and that went wrong. Totally pay the ransom. Totally pay the ransom.
I don't think you can.
What if...
What are they going to spend the money on, right? You give them £1 million, you know what they're going to spend the money on.
Right, okay.
More knives.
So there's Alan Hennings, who's 47, right? He's a taxi driver. He's in the desert. He's wearing one of these silly robes. He's being held by the hand. There's this murderer with a knife. In a week, he's going to chop his head off, right? Instead of that being Alan Hennings... Let me get his name right. Alan Henning. That's your dad, right? That's my brother. That's my best friend. Easily worth £1 million. Easily worth £1 million.
Of course, but then you are fueling this as a business opportunity for them.
Yeah. But that's my dad. Well, not my dad.
Well,
he's dead.
I know.
But that's.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
That's my brother there.
I know, but you've...
Though it could have been. He was a soldier. That's my brother. £1 million. Yeah, go on. Hang on. We've raised £1.5 million for a dog's home. Let's get these people out. Let's go and rescue these people. Let's pay the money, and then we'll find out where they are.
What,
and
even if it becomes a nice little earner?
08459 455 555. Peter's in Walmer Green. Morning, Peter.
Good morning.
What do you have a whinge about today, mate?
No, not at all. Not at all.
We should pay the ransom, shouldn't we, Peter?
Well, yes, I wasn't going to talk about that, but yes, I think we should.
Thank you very much indeed, Peter. He's speaky sensey.
Don't you worry that it would fuel more?
Beg your pardon?
Don't you worry that it would fuel more?
It probably would, but then again, there's a life at stake.
Thank you. Exactly. Anyway, Peter, I've caught you off guard there. What did you call in about?
I called in about... I raised a story a few months ago on Three Counties Radio about being in the Blitz, and I hadn't met a guy for 70-plus years.
Oh, yeah.
And we all met up, about 9 of us met up on Saturday, all through his book, really. He wrote a book about Bethnal Green from the 30s to the 50s. And it was Blitz time, really, when the flying bombs were about, when we last saw each other, really.
Yeah.
And there were 6 of the people from the street and the surrounding area.
Yes.
And also 3 of the really grown-up children, in their 60s, turned up.
Children, yes.
9 of us, yeah, well, there was 9 of us all together, and we had a tour around old haunts. We met up at 12 o'clock at the the old thing they used to call the Red Church, actually, in Bethnal Green Road, and we walked right through to Hackney Road, through all the...
I feel like I'm there.
Well, and we went down Columbia Road, we had our pie mash.
Beautiful.
We strolled
Kath, wake up! He's telling us an important story. Come on,
riveted. What are you
this
talking
is
about?
living history we're living.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we finished up going right through the Shoreditch, walking between 12 and 5:30, and considering the age of the people there, I mean, it was absolutely brilliant, and we just yelled as if we hadn't been apart. Really.
Go on, give us a yell now, Peter, like you haven't been apart.
No, he said gelled.
No, I can't do anything facetious about this.
No?
No, not at all.
Not
It's
facetious.
absolutely brilliant.
Well, Peter, I'm glad to hear that you had a good time. If you're old and you want to tell us about your weekend, 08459 455 555.
I went to see a film,
You're old. Tell me about your weekend.
Box Trolls.
Any good?
All right.
I've seen the poster on the bus.
I quite like the animation.
Yeah.
It was sort of dark.
You said it was boring.
Well, no, just all right.
I tell you what's all right. The women's cycling team from... It doesn't say. It doesn't say.
I was getting ready to come over and give you a slap.
A women's
On the
cycling
back.
team revealed their flash new strip made to look as though it's see-through. Have you seen this picture?
Oh! Show me that.
Try and describe it to the listener.
They've got private parts printed on them. Well,
they haven't.
Kind of like, Barbie, in that it's all moulded to one.
So
There's
it
no
looks
detail
like,
on there.
It looks like the bottom area, and by bottom I mean front and back bottoms, are visible. But
Imagine squinting one of these.
Oh, jeez. No, thank you. I mean, that must be deliberate.
What's the thinking here? I don't think it is deliberate. They just decided to go with a flesh colour in the middle. I mean, flipping heck.
It's quite unpleasant. Imagine being stuck behind that. Well, actually, that would kind of work.
Would it?
It's weird, isn't it?
Oh, I think it's...
You're
I
such
think
a
it's
mum.
disturbing.
08459 455 555. You can have the sun if you want.
It's what I see all the time, to be honest. I have to tell them to keep the drawers on. Here you go.
Oh, thanks. Wait, what you got in the papers?
Nothing. The paper's rubbish today.
No, you're wrong. There's loads in the papers.
No, there isn't.
There is, mate. Here we go. I've got one.
All right, here's one.
Okay.
Forget the violin. Yes, let's. As someone who was forced to play the violin till I was 18, let's forget the violin.
Yeah.
Pupils are shunning traditional musical instruments in favour of electric guitars and drum kits, researchers have revealed.
Well, hang on, what is it?
They're choosing their own instruments. That's the way forward.
Is it 1964 when the Beatles have just broke? We know that.
The electric guitar is as popular as the violin among children for the first time and has overtaken the flute. Again, those two instruments are too hard. Start out on something interesting that you can play by yourself and sound decent at within a couple of weeks. That's the key, I think.
Hey, I was rocking the piano at the weekend.
Oh.
We were having a right old sing-along, me and the boys, doing we had a little disco going.
Piano disco?
Yeah, I was like Mrs. Mills. It was flipping brilliant. I was really rocking. Turns out I can play loads of songs really well.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what you want for a learner's instrument.
Yeah, exactly. Piano. Have you had the conversation yet, asks Jan Etherington in the Daily Express.
What, Jan Etherington upstairs?
That is Jan Etherington upstairs, isn't it? Well,
Jan
yeah.
Hetherington. We're just common.
It's one of the biggest issues confronting modern families. So, have you decided where you'll be spending Christmas this year? It is awful, isn't it, that moment? Well, have you decided?
Kinda.
You staying at home?
No, but we're getting to that point because the families are both growing either side, and it's getting to the point where in-laws and my parents are, scratching around for space. But it's the first year that my sister's back from America with her brood, so the pressure is on. I think.
Selfish of her.
No, I'm quite happy for someone else to cook my dinner, but I'm just waiting for everyone to start looking at me.
Oh, blimey. The last time we had this conversation...
At which point I'll go, do you know what, we'll sort ourselves out.
Yeah, the last time we had this conversation, it left me...
Trauma noise.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it is a toughie.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
What you can do?
Probably go... Well, probably... Oh, blimey. Probably go to my mother-in-law's Christmas Day, but take my mum. Then go to my sister's Boxing Day. Probably. We've had arguments about it before in the past.
What, proper arguments?
Well, yeah, is swearing and shouting at someone, is that a proper argument?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we've had them.
Oh.
We've had loads of them.
Wow.
08459 455 555. Hey, we got a good one for... Who's a fan of hardcore? Kels, you a fan of hardcore?
Hardcore what?
Yeah, exactly. That's
It's
the question.
ideal for driveways.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Justin Dealey is out on the hunt for hardcore.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 heading northbound at the moment, it's closed between junction 11 at Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick, following an accident there, causing problems on the M1 heading southbound as people are slowing down there, looking very slow on camera at the moment. There's a lane closed on the M1 London bound between junction 9 at Redbourne and junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead. That's due to an accident there as well. And the A1M heading southbound's also blocked between junction 7 for Stevenage and junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City, following an accident there as well. The M25 heading anti-clockwise, the lane's closed between junction 26 for Waltham Abbey and junction 25 for Enfield. So far, looking at the trains, everything seems to be running rather well. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 6:46, it's Monday the 15th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. An official report says PCSOs in Hertfordshire are carrying out jobs they aren't trained to do. It's being claimed a lack of GPs in Milton Keynes is putting patient safety at risk. And police are trying to trace the driver of a Porsche who failed to stop after a fatal accident at Wixham's. Right, let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's a rather dull start across all three counties this morning. We have some low cloud, a bit of mist and fog, and also one or two spots of light rain and drizzle as well. But the good news is it's not going to last. It will start to improve through the morning onwards, really. The cloud will start to lift, as will the mist and fog, and we'll get some decent sunny spells. Could see one or two showers developing this afternoon, though. One or two of those could potentially be quite sharp. Others may not get any at all, but the maximum temperature is still warm at 22 Celsius, perhaps even 23. So if you're heading out and about later, it is worth just bearing in mind it could get quite warm. Overnight tonight, eventually we'll get a dry night, some clear spells, temperature dropping down to around 12 Celsius in the rural spots, perhaps a bit milder in built-up areas. We could see a bit of mist and fog developing again towards dawn tomorrow morning. And as we head into Tuesday again, it's a similar start to this morning, rather misty, rather murky, but eventually we should get some sunny spells. Again, warm, maximum temperature 22 Celsius. And that's your forecast.
Every weekday from 12, Nick Coffer brings you
BBC Three Counties Radio. I've got some great interviews coming up.
He was in the trenches in France and he was shot.
We both look at each other in amazement and can't believe how far we've come with the company, and we love it. We love every day that we do the cakes.
Nick Coffer.
We're telling people, go out and find about your family story and come back and pay tribute to them in a way that is a living, breathing legacy.
Got a strong local link, hasn't it?
A strong local link.
Amy Merritt, she's originally from New Zealand, now settled in Buckinghamshire.
Nick Coffer.
I think it could be brilliant.
Weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio. This is Catherine Boyle.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
I didn't know that was there.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, of course it is.
China's brilliant, right? What?
On human rights?
On karate films.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
And also, they've got a brilliant thing, OK? They've got, on the pavements... Have you been to China?
No.
It's weird. It is a weird country.
I've been to Japan.
Completely different, you racist.
No, I'm just saying.
I've been to Japan, I love it. Both are weird. Japan is good weird. China's just weird.
Oh, right.
But this is good, right? You know when you see people...
They burp and stuff, don't they, as a sign of appreciation?
Who?
Chinese.
The Japanese don't blow their nose. Do that all the time. Like really petite young Japanese women.
That is my least favourite noise that my husband makes. He'd be at home in Japan.
Has he got a house there?
Should.
So, you know when you see people walking down the street and they're texting all the time? I quite often deliberately bump into them. Well, in...
Can you change your chair?
That's not my chair. Sorry, been a tough weekend. I'm not feeling very well. Now,
You're doing a Dennis.
In Chongqing, in China, what they've got is they have got... You know, you get bicycle lanes and all of that. They've got a texting lane. No, not Oh.
Oh, I read it as well.
Well, I know, but they haven't, and this is
really?
bants.
Tell me more. How does it work?
You walk down it texting.
Oh.
Hang on a minute. Pamela? Linda?
Linda, yeah.
What does it say? Well, hang on a minute. Why does it say Pamela? Why have you put Pamela on the screen?
I got confused.
How can you get confused between Pamela and Linda? One is my mum, one is married to Billy Connolly. Linda, I do apologise. Linda.
Yeah.
So, you know when you see people walking down the street texting?
Yeah.
In China, in Chongqing,
yeah,
they have got a texting lane where you can walk down and text.
Just say,
No, don't say, say, oh.
All right, oh.
And there we go, you see. This isn't my mum, is it? Is it? Oh.
No.
Oh, not, you don't sound sure.
No, I'm not your mum.
OK, well, that's a shame, because you sound absolutely delightful. In many ways better than my mum.
Oh, dear.
No, not at all. Linda, what would you like to say?
Well, the last 2 early mornings, a lot of Hemel Hempstead, as far as I know, about yesterday morning, it was about 4ish, you woke up to this, it sounded like a firework display, gone on for about 10 minutes. So you know when you have the end of a firework, and then it's bang, 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 all the fireworks?
Yeah.
Then it happened again at 2 this morning. You know, it's just, if anyone else has heard it, what's going on? Because it's waking everybody up. Why would someone be doing it?
Frenzied banging in Hemel.
Yeah. It's really like a firework display. That's how it sounds.
So, 2 o'clock in the morning...
Today, and yesterday it was 4ish.
Yesterday it was 4ish. People just banging away in Hemel?
Yeah, it was just sounded like... That sounds good. No, but it was sounded like a firework display. It really did.
Which direction?
Well, I live over the back of Sainsbury's in Apsley.
Yeah.
So that's where I can hear it from.
Blimey. Well,
It's not someone dumping things, is it?
No, it really is fireworks.
When does dumping things sound like fireworks?
If you're dumping something clangy.
No, it really is.
If you're dumping
fireworks
explosives
Yeah.
in the air, then it could be.
Yeah, and today my husband actually see it across the way, so you can see it. But, yeah, it is really fireworks.
You can see it. It is fireworks, is it?
Yeah, you can see it.
Who's
today.
doing fireworks at 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning?
Is there a festival on?
Yeah. But it does wake you up. It's a bit annoying, really.
Linda, we'll put it out there and we'll see if anybody else can answer the mystery of the banging in Hemel. Thank you, Linda.
OK, thanks.
Bye-bye, Pamela.
Who's been letting off in Hemel?
I mean, you're nearly as old as me now, and that's the best you can come up with.
I knock about with toddlers.
Justin!
Boss, I heard it. I heard the banging on Saturday. I got back at about, 3:30 in the morning.
It was you.
It wasn't me. It was not me.
Justin has never been banging in Hemel.
I was just going to sleep and I heard it at about 4 o'clock, going into the early hours of Sunday. So I can confirm those bangs were real in Hemel.
I'm surprised you didn't grab your recording equipment and get out there on the case.
I was too tired. It was kind of in the distance. So I would say, a bit like your previous caller there, was it Pamela? Yes, in the Apsley direction. That's where it was coming from.
Well, but do we know what it was?
It sounded like fireworks to me.
OK. Do we know why it was?
No, we don't. No, it was just
someone having a good time, innit?
A mysterious bang and mysterious banging.
Fireworks are rubbish, aren't they, really?
It is an extraordinary waste of money.
Isn't it, Joss? It's terrible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
08459... Is that our phone number? Yeah. 08459 455 555. Sorry?
Really?
I just...
You're mixing up the phone numbers
get confused. So, Justin, in China...
Yeah.
In Chongqing...
No.
You know you get...
It wasn't called that.
It's Chongqing.
Oh, go on.
You know you get bicycle lanes and stuff?
Yeah.
They've got a texting lane where you walk down and you text.
Utterly ridiculous.
Sorry?
Utterly ridiculous.
What, the Chinese?
Well,
there's nearly 2 billion of them, mate. Be careful.
I'm not going to mess with those. No, not 2 million of them.
Billion.
But billion. Sorry, 2 billion. That's ridiculous. But
there are only 2 million. We could go and take them. The world would be a different place.
Why would you have a lane for people texting? Why?
Because they go slow.
Just don't text on the street. Simple. Wait until you get to work. Wait until you get home. I see it all the time when I'm out and about. People either texting, almost getting run over. But the worst is when people are texting and they've got headphones, so they can't hear the traffic, and they're texting as well. That is a disaster waiting to happen.
They deserve everything they get, those guys.
Text pests.
Yeah. Call me now.
08459 455 555.
Now, what have we got for just today, Catherine Boyle?
Hardcore, you know the score. We don't, which is why we need Justin. Justin, there's a man in Bedford who's been told he can't register his address as Hardcore Mansions because it might sound a bit rude.
Yes.
We thought it might be a job for you.
Absolutely. I'm actually on my way to his home right now.
Beautiful.
About 10 or 15 minutes away. His name is Daniel Lewis. See, I thought you could rename your home anyway. Because
I did.
Because you own that property, don't you? But apparently the local council said you can't call it Hardcore Mansions. You're going to offend people. He's actually conducted his own survey. The people that he's spoken to say, no, it's not offensive. So he's now got a massive, classy plaque outside his home which says Hardcore Mansions. We're hopefully going to track him down and get him live on the show before 9.
It should be quite easy because it's in pink neon.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Classy, you see? Classy.
I like the sound of this guy.
Yeah, he sounds like a real man.
Justin, let us know when you've got him, please.
Yep, take care, Ian.
Thank you very much. Ta-ta. 08459 455 555.
Have you got a house with a name?
No, we haven't got a name. But I thought you could just name it.
Well, I thought you could, judging by some of the names round our way.
Yeah.
You know, sort of amalgamations of people's names.
Yeah. Well, I was so disappointed to find out that done roaming, what done roaming means.
That I've finisnhed roaming, I'm saying.
I've finished roaming, so they've made up a word, done roaming.
There's one of those round our way.
Oh, it's horrible.
That's allowed, apparently.
House name. Well, I don't quite. I've got a number on my house, and that works for us.
I think unless you live in a cottage in a village, there's no need, is there?
It's a bit pretentious, isn't it?
Well, you know, if it's always been called,
yeah.
You know, such and such villa, you know, some of these, you know, if it's always been called that and it's in the glass over the door, then fair enough.
It's in the glass over your door.
Yeah, but if it's like Cathanians and Keans,
yeah,
why would you call it that?
I'd call it if I was a guy from Westlife.
Oh yeah.
All those places where the wild things grew, all the fields you used to run through. Summer stretches out for 7 weeks in June. Was there more light, more time than he ever knew? Now he's run as fast as he can go, and he's hidden almost everywhere that he knows. Chased by the terror from the boys on the street below. He remembers a time of sunlight and weeds strewn windows. 'Cause once there's meadow here, greens and grass, and the night skies were only black, interrupted by stars that were like seconds abroad from some foreign parts. A new job, a new hope, a new start in a new house. I'm gonna take you there sometime. Sometimes he's walking home alone out on the street. Memories come flooding back about what they used to do, how things used to be. Could he go back to unscrambling his dream? Could everything in his world go from grey to green? So take me back to paradise. If I only could, I wanna walk into the lane, to the river through the woods. I wanna show you how it was, what we used to do, with a new job, a new hope, a new view, in a new house. That's where we're gonna go.
That's what the world needs. Another new Deacon Blue song. That's what we've been waiting for, haven't we, Kath?
She's still shaking that tambourine.
Isn't she just? 08459 455 555. When has a celebrity refused to sign something for you? Would you be offended if the house next door was called Hardcore? Of course you wouldn't, for goodness sakes. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading northbound at the moment is closed between junction 11 of Dunstable Road and junction 12 of Flitwick. That's following an accident that happened a little earlier on. At the moment, the emergency services are on the scene. In Dunstable, seeing delays at the moment on the A5 on the High Street there due to people diverting from the problems on the M1 just around Church Street. The M1 London bound, very slow moving as well between junction 9 at Redbourne and junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead. That's due to an accident that's happened there as well. The A1M heading southbound's closed at the moment between junction 7 for Stevenage and junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City, following an accident there as well. On the train, so far everything's running well. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. Has your house got a name? I did think that you could just name it on a whim. Are there rules behind this? We'll find out after the news with Lee.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: a report says there's confusion about the role of PCSOs. There's concern about a lack of doctors in Milton Keynes, and a police appeal after a fatal road crash in Bedfordshire.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A report into the role of community police officers says there's significant differences in the way they're being used. Her Majesty's Inspectorate says in Hertfordshire, PCSOs are being used to investigate crimes, while in Buckinghamshire they're being used to take sheltered housing residents their dinner. These Bedfordshire residents aren't convinced about the role PCSOs play.
They can't do nothing. They ain't got any powers. They can't arrest you. They've got about as much power as me and you.
Waste of money. They've got no rights to arrest or anything like that. We have them. It's cheap labour.
They're just people that walk around with a uniform on. They've got no powers whatsoever, really, have they? Why not train them up and make them into real policemen? And then the crime will go down.
A plastic police officer, really, not somebody who can actually do their job properly, because all they can do is hold you until certain police officers can actually come. So I don't really respect them too much, to be honest.
The Foreign Secretary, Philip Hammond, is meeting his international counterparts in Paris this morning to discuss plans to halt the spread of Islamic State militants. The talks come as fears grow for Alan Henning, a British aid worker who was abducted in Syria. Patient groups in Milton Keynes says safety is being put at risk as there aren't enough doctors in the new city. The pressure on the village practice in Middleton is so great it's converted a utility room and toilet into consulting rooms. Tony Fisher reports.
The practice has just had to close its books to new patients for the 5th time since 2004. The patient participation group and one of the practice's GPs says the significant local population growth needs to be met and they've had no support from the NHS. It says it's working on expanding existing or developing new healthcare provision for GP services.
Police are trying to find the driver of a black Porsche which was involved in a fatal accident on the A6 at Wixham's. A 33-year-old man from Luton who was driving a black Audi has died from his injuries. Commuters on the Thames Link line from Bedford to Brighton are travelling with train company Govia from today. As part of its new 7-year franchise, the company's been told it has to deal with overcrowding and trains not running on time. Govia's chief executive, Charles Horton, says ticket price rises are inevitable.
Fare rises pay for the sort of investment that we're going to be making. The railways are growing in this country at a dramatic rate, and what we need is to actually invest in the capacity to cope with the demand that's out there.
More than 5,500 jobs are at risk at the mobile phone retailer Phones for You, which is being placed in administration. The move follows a decision by the operator EE to join Vodafone in cutting ties with the retailer. In sport, the MK Dons are third in League One after beating Barnsley 5-3. Elsewhere, there were wins for Luton, Stevenage and Wickham, but defeat for Watford. And the weather will be cloudy with scattered showers at times. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. That's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Thank you, Lee. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Busy show. Apparently anything goes with PCSOs and watchdogs are livid. The doctor will see you now in the loo because his patient list is massive. And there's a furore over hardcore. We've sent Justin Dealey out to investigate. Other bits and pieces that we've thrown out there. Banging in Hemel. Has your house got a name? And it seems more and more obvious to me that with these hostages in Iraq and Syria, we should totally pay the ransom. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
You all right, Cole?
Yes, thank you.
What have you got for us today?
Firework display?
Oh, yeah, the fireworks in Hemel at 2 o'clock one morning, 4 o'clock another morning. What's going on?
Well, certainly the 3:45 display certainly seems to be a well-organised arrangement. Obviously, somebody had a good party going on in the Sempill Road area. It woke me up about 3:45 in the morning.
Blimey.
I couldn't understand what was going on to start with, but then I got out of bed and had a look out the window, and there was this brilliant firework display going on. It lasted about 10 minutes anyway.
So that's a lot of fireworks then. That's a few quid.
That's a lot of money going up in smoke.
I do think fireworks are one of the biggest wastes of cash. What? So do we? Was it in someone's back garden? Do you think?
Oh yes, I would certainly say yes. It was right in the middle of a housing establishment.
At 4:45 in the morning?
4 in the morning.
Flippin' heck.
So I said to my wife, I said, somebody's not going to be very happy when they're close to like that, being woke up at that time in the morning.
And could you manage to go back to sleep after that, or was that it? You were up?
Oh, yes,
Good
yes.
for you.
Yes, I went to sleep after. Yes, there was no problem.
Okay. Colin, listen, thank you very much. So what area was it again?
It was in the Sempill Road area.
Okay, so we're honing in on it. Thank you very much, Colin. We're honing in on it, Catherine Boyle.
Does see? I mean, I'm all for people spending money on what they like, but 2 o'clock in the morning. Hello. Really?
So one at 2 o'clock. It was saying there was one at 3:45 in the morning.
What are you playing at?
That is that kind of stuff gets me angry.
Yeah.
Really angry.
Because we're having a great time. Forget you lot.
Up yours.
We've got some text messages here.
Oh, yeah, go on.
This one from Helen in Milton Keynes. I had my hair cut from very long to short. My mum said to my query, I'm not sure. She said, I can see too much of your face.
Hey,
oh, Helen, is your mum friends with my mum?
Mum.
They should be. Maff in Hanslope has a cunning plan for the ISIS. You know, you said maybe we should pay the ransom.
We should totally pay the £1 million ransom for those gentlemen they've got.
Maff has a cunning plan and the government should listen.
All right.
If we send them a cheque, it can be tracked where they'll cash it in. Can't send it electronically as the money laundering will be hard to prove while they hide their cowardly faces. Maff, do you think they've not thought of this stuff?
I shouldn't be laughing about this. I don't think you can send them a cheque. Who do we make the cheque out to? ISIS? Jihadi John? Pay Jihadi John £1 million only. I don't think it's quite as simple as that. But because you know, they're talking. They talk to ISIS. They talk to
they tweet all the time, don't they?
Well, ISIS have got their own Twitter account, but the government will be talking to someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone in ISIS. So there will be chains of communication going on. I do just think, and I know, OK, the argument, well, it's going to encourage them, it's going to fund more bombs and all of this stuff.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about it's for a life. Well, £1 million will take a whole lot more lives, won't it?
Yeah, I know, but then you just look at that face.
Well, I know, but that's what they're playing on. That's what they're playing on.
Alan Henning. OK, is the answer then that we put a ban on putting all these pictures on the front page of the newspaper so that their publicity is curtailed?
But then again, people need to see how what the kind of evil we're dealing with, don't they?
Well, do we? There could be one argument that we are being allowed to see this so that when David Cameron eventually does say, yeah, we're going to do airstrikes, and when he eventually does say at some point down the line, I think we should send troops in, we'll go, yes, son, get in there.
Do you think that's not the reason why they're doing it?
Of course that's why they're doing it. So we go, yes, David. I know we had our fingers burnt last time, but this is now just. I do just think we should pay the money and then deal with the consequences. £1 million. David Haynes, who was murdered at the weekend, his family were desperately trying to make contact with ISIL, ISIS, whatever they're called, to try. And we've raised, £1.5 million for a dog's home.
And in the past we've talked about how draconian it is to stop people going out to do what they think is the right thing in Syria, like this chap here.
Yeah. He was going out looking after kids that were being orphaned and didn't have any homes.
But he's become a bargaining chip. Is it time to ban everyone from going out there?
Hey, fun times. 08459 455 555. Thank you very much, Catherine. More from her later, unfortunately. It's a contractual obligation.
You're so horrible.
No, whoa. I'm not as bad as your mum. I think It makes you look young. By about 6 months.
Yeah.
39. Now, patient groups in Milton Keynes are concerned that a lack of GPs in the area is putting public safety at risk. The pressure on the Milton Keynes village practice in Middleton is so great, it's had to convert a dirty utility room and a toilet into consulting rooms. It's also been forced to close its books to new patients for the 5th time following the closure of the Willen surgery and a significant increase in the local population. Well, Rosemary James is a patient and a key member of a patient participation group at the MK Village Practice. How concerned are you about this, Rosemary?
We're very concerned that the patient participation group has discussed this on many occasions and recently has been asked to provide a letter of support on behalf of patients regarding the list closure at MKVP, not a decision that the practice took lightly. We are very concerned. The increasing demand on appointments means delays. It can be up to 4 weeks to get a routine appointment to see your GP. The practice are very good at trying to accommodate you on the day for urgent matters, but they have limited resources. And it may well mean that patients are not able to seek the help they need which is a serious worry and concern.
Why is it so oversubscribed?
It's probably a mixture of reasons, but obviously is the an enormous amount of building that is currently underway around the area. I mean, we've got building going on at Oak Grove, Brooklands, Phoenix Lodge to come, and Atterbury. They're building houses at an enormous rate, but not, it would appear, putting the infrastructure in place to support these numbers.
So potentially this problem could, I know they've closed their books now, but this problem could get worse.
Indeed it could. I mean, we are aware that there is a review of healthcare provision in Milton Keynes, and as a patient participation group, we welcome that. But it may mean that any outcome from this review is many months, if not years, away. And the urgency of providing adequate primary healthcare provision is now.
Do you think that patient safety is being compromised? Are people being put at risk?
It's an awful thing for me to say, but I say yes. Simply because of the increasing delay in getting an appointment. Yes, you can get an appointment on the day, but there is limited resources, obviously, and it may well put a patient off. You seeking urgent medical care. And the other issue as well, which none of us wants, we know times are hard, it may then mean that a patient ends up going to the out-of-hours service or to A&E, which has tremendous cost implications for the NHS, and also a consistency of care. You know, it's not there if you've got to go to these out-of-hours or A&E. It is a real concern.
Rosemary, stay there. I want to bring Hilda Kirkwood, Chair of Health Watch Milton Keynes, into the conversation. Morning to you, Hilda. How long have you been aware of these problems?
Oh, well, I've lived in Milton Keynes for over 40 years, so it is actually a problem which occurs with a growing area. But this particular situation arose or got worse at April 2013 when Willand Surgery suddenly closed. So how long's that? About 18 months now.
Yeah. It is. I mean, the figures are that most the national average is 1,800 patients per GP. That's 2,000 in Milton Keynes. The 6 GPs at this surgery are responsible for 2,300 patients each. That seems an incredible load, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean it is, and I think the GP is right to take the actions which he's having to take, and he's not doing it lightly because he wants obviously to help the people of the area. But as Rosemary has just said, if he can't deliver a service which he's been trained to deliver, then what options does he have? He has to preserve, as you like, his professionalism as well. And we do have the urgent care centre in the city centre, and thank goodness we do, because that's where people have to go if they can't get into their GP.
Well, I was going to say, if GPs have closed their books and there are more people coming into the area, then where do they go? What do they do?
They'll have to go to the nearest alternative, and don't actually test me, please.
No,
what that is.
No.
But they will just have to do that until the situation is resolved locally. It's a problem on the west and the eastern flanks of Milton Keynes, more than the central zone at the moment, because those are the areas that are developing. As Rosemary said, they're building houses. You can actually see them going up. And one of the things is, of course, new home, new baby. And then when a young family wants to register with a GP, very often it's a young mother, and she wants to be able to walk to the surgery with the young children. You can understand that, because she may not have access to a car, and actually just getting young children onto a bus is difficult. So they do want reasonably local access, and it's getting that is a problem. Technically, can I just say, technically, the NHS will tell you that there are enough GPs in Milton Keynes for the head of population, because at Healthwatch we have taken issue with them over this. But it's the distribution as much as anything. It's where they are.
Hilda, stay there. Martin in Milton Keynes has called in. Martin, what would you like to say?
Morning, everybody. Just a quick one. I actually had to go to West Cross Health Centre, which is quite ironic that lady's mentioning West Milton Keynes. I actually had to go in there. I've got an injury, which is by the by, but they've got a big TV board up there, and in August alone, 39 hours of GP time was lost where people didn't cancel appointments that they'd made. So that might be worth visiting.
What would you suggest they do, Martin?
Well, basically, if you miss an appointment, have the courtesy to cancel it and not leave it, so then you can offer it to someone else. Because, if you work out a 10-minute or 6-minute appointment slot, times that, we'll divide that into 39 hours in a month, and you've got a lot of appointments there, which would have taken some of the slack up with the, with the amount of GPs that are required.
And that is a big problem, isn't it, Hilda? People missing their appointments and not cancelling them.
It is indeed. I mean, it's recognised by the NHS, but nobody's really got the answer to this one, because it does depend on an individual's level of courtesy, and it just seems that some people take their GPs and their health service for granted. Is it because it's free at the point of delivery? I mean, you get into very difficult territory.
Do we fine someone if they miss 3 appointments without letting them know? Should we be fining them?
I'm not going to be drawn on that, because I think the trouble is that the fines would fall heavily on those that can least afford it. I think that's the problem.
Hilda, thank you very much indeed. Hilda Kirkwood, Chair of Health Watch Milton Keynes. We also heard from Rosemary James. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 heading northbound, that's closed at the moment. Junctions 11 to 12, Dunstable to Flitwick. That's following an accident that happened a little earlier on. Now seeing some queues back towards junction 10 at Luton. In Dunstable, looking very slow because of this on the High Street at Church Street, where people are trying to divert. On the M1 London bound, very slow moving just at junction 9 for Redbourne. That's due to an earlier accident there as well. And the A1M heading southbound's closed as well between junction 7 for Stevenage and junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City. And that's due to an accident that's happened there. Now seeing congestion back to junction 9 at Letchworth. The M25 heading anti-clockwise, very slow moving between junction 21, the M1, and junction 20 for Kings Langley. Also heavy anti-clockwise between junction 17 at Maple Cross and junction 16 for the M40. So far on the trains, everything's running well. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Right, 7:17. It's Monday, the 15th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. An official report says PCSOs in Hertfordshire are carrying out jobs that they aren't trained to do. It's been claimed that a lack of GPs in Milton Keynes is putting patient safety at risk. And police are trying to trace the driver of a Porsche who failed to stop after a fatal accident at Wixham's.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Don't watch television, don't watch television, don't watch television.
Inside Out goes undercover to expose one of the biggest scams in the pension industry. It's led to victims losing more than £500 million of savings.
There are numerous people who have said to me that they sometimes feel that the only way out of this misery is to commit suicide, because there's no escape.
And we discover how water voles are making a comeback after being driven to the brink of extinction.
Each year I've come back, it's just incredible how the water vole have really moved in. They are just all along here, and it's just fantastic.
Inside Out with David Whiteley. Tonight, 7:30 on BBC One.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Catherine Doyle.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
My glorious reign begins.
That's... they shouldn't be on my system. That is a computer fault, and that will be addressed... Caught her yawning! Oh, I caught you yawning.
So?
Ah, you say so. I say sa. We have fun here, don't we, girls?
You do.
Oh, we had an email about you girls, actually.
Oh, no.
What?
Not that woman that doesn't like us.
No. This is someone who,
really hates us?
No, someone who likes you. Hang on a minute, where is it? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
You know you're on the radio, don't you?
Hang on a minute. Sorry, little boy's voice when he's being funny. I don't want my mummy. Just like that. But he knows he's being funny. I want my mummy. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
My 2-year-old has started doing Helen Lederer's face. She does a lot of this. Sort of sideways looks and raising of eyebrows.
Iain, basically, this is an email from Derek saying he thought the show was brilliant. Right?
But
anyway, mixing serious issues with comedy is a rare skill to have. Both you, brackets, and your girls, do it really well. I'm still smiling about today's show as I compose this email. So, you're my girls.
That's nice that he's smiling about
Isn't it? And he's calling me your girls.
Aw. Thanks, Derek.
I think that's a nice thing, and I think that I'm going to start referring to you as my girls.
Oh, don't.
Whoa. Why?
What do we refer you to as?
Boss. Sir.
Huh?
Milado.
No. That's JD. I'm the governor. You're my girls. And then we'll go to Milado later on.
So, 1970s Bruce Forsyth, isn't it?
Yeah, which is good. And he was very successful, wasn't he? Look
Should we give you a twirl?
Go on, then. Go on.
Spin on that.
Whoa. Gosh. Still the best offer I'm going to get today. Marcus is on the M1. Good morning, Marcus.
Morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
I'm just bringing up about the ISIS. I don't believe we should be paying ransoms to them.
Go on, tell me why not.
Well, the guys know what they're going into when they go out there. So they're taking their life into their own hands, and then they're expecting us to pay ransoms when they get kidnapped. I feel sorry for them, don't get me wrong. But no way on this earth should we start paying ransoms to people like that.
Are you saying it's their fault?
I do, absolutely.
So it's David Haynes' fault, the gentleman in his 40s who was beheaded the other day. It's his fault for going out to Syrian refugee camps to help people less fortunate than him. It's his fault that he's had his head chopped off.
Absolutely. It should be out there. They know what they're going into, Ian, when they're out there.
And
so
Alan Henning,
going out there?
Alan Henning, 47, a former cab driver from Manchester, he went out to help kids at a refugee camp on the Turkish-Syrian border. It's his fault. He's now being filmed in an orange outfit and he's going to be beheaded. It's his fault.
What, so we should pay ransoms to him to have him released, should we?
Yeah.
No chance.
What if that was What if that was your dad or your son?
I'd have to accept it. I wouldn't let him go in the first place.
Well, you couldn't stop. Have you got a son?
I've got 3 sons, mate, and not one of them would I let go out there.
How are you going to stop them?
I won't let them go.
Well, how old are they?
They're old enough to tell me to go take a jump.
Exactly. Well, you're not going to stop them if they're determined. And also, so we don't send any humanitarian aid or outfits.
I'm not saying we don't send aid. But why can't we deliver aid to the people that lives out there? Why should our people go out there knowing full well they're going to be kidnapped, have a chance of being kidnapped, and then they get beheaded?
Because there are nice, caring, decent human beings who want to go and offer more than just a little bit of money. And they don't know they're going to be kidnapped, Marcus. They don't know that. They know there's a risk. Of course they do, but they don't know that.
Well, they take that risk knowing full well what might happen to them. So we start paying ransoms to everybody.
Why do you object to the money? Is it because you're afraid it would fund more terrorism, or is it because it's taxpayers' money?
I'm not bothered about it being taxpayers. You don't bow down to terrorists. Do the American way. Don't bow down to them, mate.
Marcus, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Do the American way. Don't bow down to them. I mean, I am going into this with my heart more than my head, most definitely. But you see a picture on the front page of the Mail, front page of a lot of the other papers, of David Henning. 2 pictures on the front of the Mail. Alan Henning, sorry. David Haynes was the other gentleman who was murdered. Alan Henning, first one, he's holding a little baby at a refugee camp. The next one, he's looking terrified because he knows that there's a very, very strong chance he's going to be murdered. David Haynes was alive on Saturday when I talked about him on another radio station. He was dead on Sunday. £1 million could have changed that. It's only £1 million. We raised nearly £1.5 million. How much have they raised for that dog's home now? Probably about £1.5 million. 08459 455 555. It seems to me obvious that we should pay that money. Dealey!
Ian, I'm totally with you on this one. 100% pay the money.
I'm surprised by that, to be honest. I thought you would have the opposite stance, so we shouldn't be dealing with this murderous scum.
No, you've got to think about the families. You cannot put a price on somebody's life, and £1 million in the grand scheme of things to this country is absolutely nothing. We should have paid the ransom. End of story.
Do you know what? I think as I'm going older, my thoughts on this are changing, and it was just reading about David Haynes at the weekend before he was murdered that kind of humanised it a bit. And I just think if that was, my brother or one of my boys or something like that, I would forget the political consequences or the fallout. I would do everything I could to raise that money. And we've raised £1.5 million for a dog's home.
Absolutely. I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Justin, listen, we're going from serious to the ridiculous, really. Let's move on and lighten things up a little bit. We're looking for hardcore mansions. What is this place?
You sent me on a mission to find Daniel Lewis from Clapham in Bedfordshire, who has got a huge plaque outside his home. He's renamed his home Hardcore Mansions. The council said you can't do that because it's offensive. He's gone ahead anyway. I'm outside the home. I'm looking at this very, very classy sign, and just to let you know, Daniel Lewis, we've tracked him down. He'll be talking to you live after the news and sport.
I know you're not particularly au fait with technology, but have you got a camera or something? Could you take a picture?
I've got a camera. Apparently it lights up as well. Beautiful. There's a little owl in the corner. Oh. I'll take a picture. We'll get that on Facebook, and Daniel is a fan of yours, actually.
Oh.
He'll be talking to you live. Yes, you have got one. He'll be talking to you live after 7:30.
Justin, I'll speak to you later on. Thank you very much. Well found. I like the name Hardcore Mansions. It reminds me of the old days. In the movie industry. No. In the clubbing industry. Well. Hardcore, you know the score. Would you be upset by that?
No, but I think it's... I think it conjures up images.
No, it only because
I've got
you're
a filthy
deviant.
mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's no worse than Dunroman, the fir trees.
I think it's the fact it's in pink neon.
It's a bit fun.
On black.
I wouldn't want it in my street. It's a bit common, but...
I'd like it in my street. But
it would bring your street up a bit.
Exactly. I don't mind it. People can have what they want.
I think he's obviously taking pride in his property. Not everyone does that, so good for him.
And he's doing a little joke, and he's not the first one to make a play on words, is he?
Good for him. We'll speak to him later on. Tom's in Bedfordshire. Morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Tom, I've been told this is not your real name. You're using a nom de plume, a pseudonym.
Correct.
A fake name. May I ask why?
Well, I'd rather not give my real name out.
Oh, no, I don't want your real name. I just wondered why you were using why you felt the need to use a fake name.
Just in case.
Just in case. All right, just in case there are consequences. You've called in about the banging.
The fireworks.
Yeah. What's going on?
It's a code.
Sorry?
It's a code from drug dealers. It tells everybody that they arrived, their shipment's arrived.
The shipment of drugs has arrived?
Drugs have arrived and they're open for business. Right. They go off in the afternoon, they go off at all hours, and it's jungle telegraph. Dealers are only going to phone somebody up and say, tell your mates that they're in, they just send up a firework.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
It's not a very subtle code, is it?
Try to trace a firework. You can trace a phone call, but you can't trace a firework.
So instead of, I believe back in the day, they would just send a text round saying...
they can be traced.
You could trace a firework to the back garden it was set off in, couldn't you?
Who saw it go?
Well, Colin earlier on did.
At 4:45 in the morning, in that case, to get in contact with the police and tell. That's the way they do it. My son, unfortunately, was heavily involved in drugs.
Yeah.
He's the one who told me, because I saw one go off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I said, what a waste. And he said, no, it's the code.
Drug code. What? Colin, it sounds like you're busy beavering away. Can I ask what you're doing there? Tom, sorry, can I ask what you're doing?
No. I am busy beavering away. What? But I'd rather not say, because otherwise, my cover would be blown.
Are you a spy, Tom?
No. But I don't think we should pay the ransom, quite honestly.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555.
Definitely a spy.
He knows stuff we don't know. It's a drug code setting off fireworks. Drug dealers have become a lot less subtle since, yeah.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 heading northbound, lots of problems this morning. It's closed between junction 11 Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick. That's due to an accident that's happened a little earlier on. We are seeing queues now back towards junction 10 for Luton. Also, the M1 southbound is looking very slow as well due to people slowing down to look at the accident on the other side. In Dunstable, very slow moving on the High Street, just at Church Street as people try and divert away from the M1. Taking a look at the A1M heading southbound, that's closed between junction 7 at Stevenage and junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City due to an accident there as well. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, there's a lane closed between junction 26 at Waltham Abbey and junction 25 for Enfield. So far, taking a look at the trains, everything seems to be moving rather freely. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
7, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: Bedfordshire Police has closed the M1 northbound throughout the county this morning following a serious accident. The carriageway's been closed from junction 9 in Hertfordshire. A report into the role of community police officers says there's significant differences in the way they're being used. Her Majesty's Inspectorate says in Hertfordshire, PCSOs are being used to investigate crimes, while in Buckinghamshire they're being used to take sheltered housing residents their dinner. Patient groups in Milton Keynes say safety is being put at risk because there aren't enough doctors in the new city. It's claimed that the pressure on the village practice in Middleton's so great it's converted a utility room and toilet into consulting rooms. And police are trying to find the driver of a black Porsche which failed to stop after a fatal crash on the A6 at Wixham's. A 33-year-old man from Luton who was driving an Audi was taken to hospital but has died from his injuries. The weather will be cloudy with scattered showers today. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. That's 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The MK Dons hope midfielder Mark Randall will sign a new contract this week. He played in their 5-3 win at Barnsley, which lifted the Dons up to third in League One. Manager Carl Robinson says they want to conclude a longer deal with Randall and some other squad members.
Hopefully we'll be signing a new contract, hopefully this week. I'd like to sit down and give him a new contract, a longer term contract, because he's given up an awful lot to be here, and we're trying to get that sorted. And one or two other new contracts, hopefully we can get sorted over the next few weeks.
Elsewhere, there were wins for Luton, Stevenage and Wickham in League Two. Watford lost their first match under Oscar Garcia. All of our Football League sides are in action tomorrow night. In the Premier League, Manchester United beat Queen's Park Rangers 4-0 to get their first win under Louis van Gaal. The United boss says the result can act as the beginning of a new era at the club.
What I have said also to the players, I can say also to the fans, this is the new start of Manchester United, and we shall improve every week.
And in golf, Rory McIlroy missed out on winning the PGA Tour Championship in Atlanta, and with it a £6 million bonus. A disappointing final round saw him finish in a tie for second place, 3 shots behind the winner, Billy Horschel of America. BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 8 o'clock.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Catherine Boyle.
That's BBC Three Counties Radio.
I like the sound of that.
That's got to stop now. That's got to stop now.
Really?
Hasn't it? Yeah?
Yeah, terrible, isn't it? Terrible business.
Swapped all the things around
She
them.
would do that. Maybe it was the boss, eh?
It wouldn't be the boss. The boss loves me.
Yeah, of course she does.
Ouch. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. Now, we've been talking about, well, hardcore, you know the score, haven't
Apparently we don't.
We don't, but someone who does is David Lewis. Morning, David.
It's Daniel, actually. Ian.
Daniel,
Hello.
I do apologise. I'm so sorry. Yes, someone's going to get fired. It's Daniel. Thank you, Catherine. You're fired. Daniel, you are becoming a little bit of a cause célèbre because you wanted to name your property Hardcore Mansions.
That's right. Not sure about celeb, but yeah, Hardcore Mansions came from when sort of we were out in the town in our 20s, and we're giving it large. Hardcore Mansions was where we used to go to our friend's house, and got my own house now, and thought, well, I'll call it Hardcore Mansions.
And what's the problem? The council have got a beef with this, haven't they?
They have a little bit. The problem is I wanted to call my house Hardcore Mansions and then the street name and then the town name, etc. So you have to apply for the council to get that done.
Yeah.
They refused that on 2 separate occasions. So now you can call your house any name you like, but you have to have the number of the house and the street name.
Oh, OK, so you can call it Hardcore Mansions, but you'd have to put the number in there as well, and the street name.
That's right, and it's not official. There isn't an official name. Whereas if it was official, the post would just be addressed to Hardcore Mansions and then the street name.
And what's their problem with it?
Well, they said it was inappropriate and could be offensive.
To whom?
Well, I didn't quite get that.
Sorry, I'm getting angry with you, Daniel. I know this isn't your fault. Sorry, I'll come. To whom could it be offensive?
No problem. I did write to them and spell out that hardcore. It was the hardcore they had a problem with, not the
hardcore. You know the score.
That's correct, yeah. And I did outline that there was, a number of different meanings to hardcore.
Yeah.
But no, they just took it down the sexual route and told me I couldn't have it. So.
Filthy council members. Now, what have your neighbours said about this?
Well, they all think it's quite amusing, to be honest.
So none of them have said, Daniel, please, that's disgusting.
No, not at all. And everyone who comes to the house comments on the sign and the name, and everyone thinks it's a bit of fun, yeah.
Now, OK, the name I like, the sign I like, what's this about it lighting up in pink neon, Daniel? That I'm not so sure about.
That was kind of a mistake. The guy who made the sign...
Hang on, you don't install pink neon mistakenly.
I asked the guy for a deep purple colour, because I thought that might be quite nice. Went away on holiday and had the sign fitted, came back, and yes, it was pink. So.
And do you turn it on? Do you turn the pink light on?
Not very often, only on special occasions.
Gosh. And you had to compromise. You had to do a compromise for your wife. The owl.
Yeah, no comment on that one, in.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to push you on this, Mr. Lewis. Are you? The story I've heard in the local paper was that you had to put the owl on there to appease the woman in your life.
Yeah, no comment on that, I'm afraid.
Gosh, wow, you really are under the thumb, aren't you? Not quite as hardcore as you'd have us imagine, Daniel.
I did say I was in my 20s when I was hardcore.
Yeah. Man, we are so old, aren't we? When did we get old?
I know.
How did that happen? Daniel, you're gonna keep it, and you're gonna keep calling it Hardcore Mansions, are you?
Yes, certainly am, yep.
Good for you. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on at short notice this morning. Is Justin being all right? I know he can be a little bit touchy-feely at times. Is he OK this morning?
It's no touchy-feely, but I haven't seen him, to be honest. He went off with a fag and a hip flask, so I'm not sure where he's gone.
That's our daily. Daniel, thank you very much for your time, mate.
No problem. Thanks very much.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's get some texts very quickly from Catherine Boyle. Catherine, what have we got?
Mike in Milton Keynes says, I appreciate... This is all on the subject of whether we pay the ransom to ISIS to stop these beheadings. I appreciate you can't put a price on life, but this money will go towards murdering thousands more. That's why we cannot pay. That's according to Mike in Milton Keynes. Tony agrees. Do not pay the ransom money. These terrorists will not release the British or American hostages for any money. They would take the money and still murder these poor people. The IS terrorists have more than enough money. They're well funded. They want to kill these people and they want to terrorise the West.
Thank you very much, Catherine. 08459 455 555. Now, David Lloyd has... he finally turned up.
I know.
What happened?
Well, I like to be two headlines, not one, so I was caught in that traffic coming north.
We'll spin that into a story.
I'm sure you will.
Now, police community support officers in Buckinghamshire will be bringing sheltered housing residents fish and chip supper this week. Meanwhile, at the other extreme, PCSOs in Hertfordshire are being used to investigate crimes which they aren't trained to do. That's according to the independent watchdog, Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, which says there's significant variation in the way PCSOs are used. Well, you can hear that Herts Constabulary Police and Crime Commissioner David Lloyd is with us. So the Inspectorate of Constabulary says it's concerned that your PCSOs are being used to respond to crime, which they're not trained for. What's going on?
Well, you'll know what my plan's called. It's called Everybody's Business, and I call it that because I think it's everybody's business to respond to crime, right through from you and me all the way through to police officers, and it's about reducing crime. PCSOs are very much part of the policing family, and indeed in most communities they're the most loved part of the policing family, and I think it's quite right and proper that they have a wide range of powers. Clearly they can't have the powers that are only given to police officers. They can't arrest, they can't stop moving traffic, so they can't do those things that are only given to police officers. But actually, someone out there on the streets a lot of the time making sure that crime is coming down and is staying low is exactly what the community wants.
Who says they're the most loved part?
Well, actually, most of the surveys I do, and when I'm out, you'll know I'm out and about very often. I'll be in Hemel Hempstead all day tomorrow talking to people. And when I'm out there, what they really want to see is what's happened to my PCSO as well as my police officer. So they want to know, and, recently you'll know that I've said I'm going to have 80 more PCSOs because the numbers have dropped below 200. 232 is the amount that we'd normally expect to have. I'm recruiting 80 more. If you go into any community and ask them about policing, they always want to know about their policing.
So what's happening? What is the Inspectorate's beef here? Are they suggesting that someone gets burgled, for example, and a PCSO turns up instead of a police officer?
Well, that isn't the case, but you don't need a police officer always to turn up, first of all, when someone gets burgled. You might want to take evidence, which you can take without having a police officer there. So there is something I'm rather worried about with HMIC, which is they seem to want a uniformity of policing across the whole country. I don't want a uniformity. I want policing to reflect the local community. And in Hertfordshire, the local community wants to have PCSOs.
I would be disappointed if someone had broken into my house and a copper didn't turn up, proper copper didn't turn up. I would consider that, what's the word, an affront.
Well, I think that what you really want is, first of all, for the burglary not to take place, first of all. I mean, that's almost a truism. So that's about making sure that crime is low. And remember that in Hertfordshire, you're very unlikely.
You're good at spinning this.
You're very unlikely in Hertfordshire to be the victim of burglary. But if you are the victim of burglary, what you want is someone to be there quickly and to actually work through what the issues are and actually to catch the person who did it. That's the 3 stages of it. I don't think...
But the PCSO couldn't arrest that person if they found them.
The likelihood is the person isn't going to still be sitting having a cup of tea in the house. So you don't need the PCSO, you don't need someone to arrest that person there and then. You need that offender to be arrested.
The original purpose of PCSOs was providing a visible community reassurance role. What you're suggesting doesn't fit into that description, does it?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think that what people want to know is that they've got part of that broader policing family. I didn't used to be a real fan of PCSOs until the near riots in Hertfordshire in 2011. You remember we didn't have riots in Hertfordshire. We had them in London, but not in Hertfordshire. And the reason we didn't was because in Waltham Cross, where there was a particular hotspot, the PCSOs were out on the street and actually recognised all those people who were about to break into various jewellers and various other places. It's really difficult to carry on committing a crime if you know someone who's part of the police family actually knows who you are. And that's what stopped the riots happening. They're a really, really great part of the policing family and really are needed. And what's more, you know that what I'm looking to do, because I call my plan Everybody's Business, is to broaden the police family. Yeah. We should all be part of that police family because it's not about policing, it's about crime reduction, it's about community.
Does the PCSOs taking on additional responsibilities, does that imply there's a shortage of police officers?
I think that we should use police officers for the specialist roles that they can do, and we should use the broader police family and even the public for parts of that community support. So, no, I think we've got the right number of police officers, but you will know that I'm putting money into even more police officers, frontline police officers, because actually that's what reassures the public.
You talk about, everybody being involved in policing. The Inspectorate wants police forces to ensure that by the end of the year, PCSOs aren't being drawn into response style of policing. Does that mean, do you have to adhere to that? Is it suggestion or an instruction? And will that change your style of policing?
Well, you'll be speaking, I think, later on to a senior police officer. Clearly it's operational as to how you use that broader police family. But I have to say that, as I said before, I'm rather concerned that Her Majesty's Inspector of Constabulary, which is, if you like, our Ofsted, are straying into areas which aren't about policing at all and are really about wanting a uniformity of policing across the land, which I don't think the public wants.
I know this isn't, but the PCSOs in Bucks, they're delivering fish and chips to old people this week.
Isn't that great?
Is it great?
Yes.
Tell me why that's great. Sell that to me. I know it's not on your watch.
Clearly it's not on my watch. But I think PCSOs are part of the community. The most important letter within there is C for community. And they're part of that community very much. Those older people who are having fish and chips delivered will recognise faces and will recognise, here's someone I can talk to. That's why people love PCSOs. They can talk to them, they can go up to them in the street. And that's why PCSOs work so well, because they know what's going on in the community.
OK, before you go, David, last week Nick Clegg, leader of the Lib Dems, said, I'm misquoting slightly, that the Police and Crime Commissioners were an experiment that had gone wrong and it should be abolished.
It's an outrage, isn't it, that he's getting onto a bandwagon in such a way, but then that's what you expect of Nick Clegg, isn't it, really? I mean, at the end of the day, the whole point about PCCs is accountability. I have to say, it's strange, isn't it? All this happened, for the most part, as far as I can see, under the watch of a chairman of a police authority. No one's gone out there and said, bring me the head of the chairman of the police authority. I think it's really good news that PCCs are so much the focus, because actually what people are saying is, here's someone who can be held accountable.
One text, it's not Pat this time. I'm not sure.
Wake up, Pat.
Yes, well, Pat sent one, but he gets on every time, so we won't read that. L says, I'm not sure where this man has got his information about PCSOs from, as in our town we call them Fake Bob, and they have one big attitude problem and don't really help at all, as they have no powers to do anything.
Well, before PCSOs came in, a lot of people thought that they were going to be the sort of police light. I think they've proved themselves as being very much part of that policing team. And when I'm out on patrol, I'm often out as much with PCSOs as I am with police constables. And I have to say that they are a super part, a really important part of what we're doing in Hertfordshire.
David, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, Ian. Good to see you.
Thank you too. 08459 455 555. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off with the problems on the M1 heading northbound. It's still closed at the moment because of an accident between Junction 11 for Dunstable Road and Junction 9 for Redbourne. We do have emergency services on the scene at the moment, but there's lots of delays on the southbound stretch as well as people slow down there. In Dunstable, very slow moving on the high streets between Church Street and Woburn Road as people are trying to divert away from the M1. It's queuing on the A1M heading southbound between Junction 7 for Stevenage and Junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City. Now seeing queues there to Junction 9 at Letchworth due to an accident there as well. And it's queuing on the M25 heading anti-clockwise between Junction 26 for Waltham Abbey and Junction 25 for Enfield. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 7:46, it's Monday the 15th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. An official report says PCSOs in Hertfordshire are carrying out jobs they aren't trained to do. It's being claimed that a lack of GPs in Milton Keynes is putting patient safety at risk, and police are trying to trace the driver of a Porsche who failed to stop after a fatal accident at Wixham's. We'll take some of your phone calls after we get the weather with Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Start to the day, we have a bit of low cloud, a bit of mist and one or two spots of light rain and drizzle out there. But the good news is it will improve. We'll get some brightening skies, so some sunny spells as we head through the afternoon. Could in turn spark off one or two quite sharp showers, but many of us will stay dry. And it's going to feel reasonably warm as well. The maximum temperature 20 Celsius, 68 degrees in Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight, some lengthy clear spells will result in mist and fog developing again before dawn, maybe even a shower or two, but a minimum temperature 12 Celsius. 54 degrees in Fahrenheit. For tomorrow, it's a similar day. A misty and foggy start, but then sunny spells, maybe a shower in the afternoon, temperature 22 Celsius. The difference this week is the temperature. It will gradually start to creep up, hitting a peak as we head towards Thursday. Well, things will start to feel quite warm. That's your forecast.
Tomorrow night, there's a feast of live football here on BBC Three Counties Radio. All of our teams are playing, which means there's 4 live games you can choose from. Watford, MK Dons, Luton or Stevenage.
Chance after chance after chance has gone begging, but he's found the back of the net again.
Plus, we'll keep you up to date on Wycombe Wanderers. Three Counties Sport, tomorrow night from 7, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Catherine Boyle!
Yep.
Producer Catherine Boyle, here as always, with a snazzy new nut cut on her head. Been criticised by her mother, says it makes you look older.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she meant more mature.
No, I think
sensible.
She meant old.
Grown up.
She meant old.
I think it makes you look younger. I think it's had a positive effect on you. You just need to embrace it. You need to embrace it.
When it stops feeling like a helmet, I might.
When you stop feeling like... Anyway.
Yeah.
Have you...
I've had some words of encouragement, though.
Oh, yeah, go on.
From Jodie in Bedford.
Yes.
I don't know what your hair was like before, Catherine, but fair play for taking the plunge and chopping it off. This sounds supportive.
Yeah.
I think it's seen as masculine.
Sorry?
But as a short-haired woman,
look
I
butch.
like the fact I don't look like the majority of females with long, damaged, straightened hair.
Looks like a man.
Wow. I get annoyed when people constantly ask if I've ever had long hair. I respond by saying, yeah, but only on my back. Jodie, short-haired sister.
Classy. We were talking earlier on about Gary Busey, the former actor, refusing to sign a DVD for me.
Your former hero.
My eyes pricked with tears. I tossed the DVD into the bin.
Oh, I haven't even seen that.
I went... It's a good film. Oh, well. That was a little bit silly of me. I asked him for an autograph. He went, no, I'm not going to sign that now. Didn't even look at me. At least when Ringo refused to sign a CD or an LP, he was looking at me and he joked about it.
And he gave you a peace sign.
Gave me the peace and love. I don't sign things anymore. And he joked about it. He looked at me. Gary Busey didn't even look at me. I'm not going to sign that now. We've been asking about when celebrities refuse to sign things. We've had Graham Coxon from Blur refusing to sign something for Scott by going, oh, man, it's Sunday! But you don't strike me as the type of person who'd ask for autographs, Kath. Have you ever done
I
it?
won't. I won't, and I won't look at people in posh cars either.
What? Oh, no, I don't look at the posh cars.
No, I won't.
No.
I won't give them the satisfaction.
I look the other way.
They don't notice. They don't notice me ignoring
Is there
them.
no one you'd like their autograph?
No, I wouldn't ask. And my biggest heroes, I wouldn't dare ask.
Well, you can ask me. I'll sign it for you.
No, you're all right. No, I wouldn't ask. I just think it's weird.
It is a little bit weird, but I like it. And maybe it's a boy. Kelly, have you ever asked for an autograph? You work with some big stars.
I had a book when I was younger that I had celebrities autograph.
Who was in it? Stu Francis?
Scott Oakes.
Who?
Exactly.
Footballer,
Luton Town footballer. And other people that are in the news lately and would just be silly if I said.
I've been asked for my
What do you mean? Like Rolf Harris and stuff?
No.
Who then? Or can you not say?
Yeah.
OK.
Let's move on.
If Kelly's censoring herself, then...
I've been asked for my autograph in the past and I find it very weird.
Oh, right. She just told me who.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well.
OK, so now we've all shared that. Goodness.
Why would you want his autograph? Oh, poor lad. It'll happen to all of us one day. Dave's in Luton. Morning, Dave.
Good morning, boss.
Dave!
Well, no, don't shout, can you?
No.
They can hear you down the road.
I won't shout. Dave, before we start about what you've called in about, can I just ask you something?
Don't, I've moved.
Whereabouts you moved to?
Oh, no, I can say you, pal.
Right. Because it's always struck me as odd that you're...
No, listen, I've moved.
Your last name is Luton?
No. I've moved.
And you live in Luton?
Look, what you beeping on about again? You're always beefing on about me and my name and Luton.
If you moved to Stevenage, would you change your name to Stephen Luton?
Would it be Dave from Stevenage, wouldn't it?
Oh, you changed the last one?
Dave from.
Middle name from.
Yeah, thanks, Catherine. Don't you start, Catherine, all right.
I just think it's fun. It's like Joey Essex.
Here?
Yeah.
Who's Joey Essex?
Well, exactly. Who is he?
We all know Dave from Luton is. So where is your? Have you changed? So where have you moved to?
No, I ain't telling you.
Why? I'm not going to come round.
No. Because I'll be coming on here. You'll be going, oh, Dave, now, not Luton, from somewhere else.
I'd phrase it a little bit better than that. Yeah,
That's a long surname.
Yeah.
Right, PCOs.
What?
What are you laughing at, Kelly?
What are you spelling, Dave?
Oh, PCOs.
I don't know what that is.
Police support officers.
Well, that would be PSOs.
All right. Dear.
Anyway,
Right.
whatever they're called, what do you want to say?
Right, Catherine.
Who's sending a text while she's talking to you, Dave? That says
so
it all.
rude. So rude, Catherine.
You're so rude, Catherine.
I'm sending a text to my friend who fancies your voice.
Oh, you really?
Saying he's on.
Oh, great.
I was talking about you in a restaurant yesterday. She said, "Who's that Dave? Who
Oh,
is
lovely.
that Dave?"
Man of mystery.
Well, was my voice sexy to her or something?
Or something, yeah.
Can you ask her?
All right, I'll send Nick a text.
Yeah,
Nick,
right.
he's on. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Are you on?
Right.
He's on to you.
PSOs, right?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, police support officers walking down the road.
Get the
and they
funniest
see an
looks from, yes.
They see an accident. There's an accident in the road.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? That they can't go out into the road and control the traffic?
Well, you often see blokes with hard hats on stopping the traffic. What gives them the right to stop whenever a bloke with a high-vis jacket and a hard hat on stops the traffic, I always drive past them. I had one fella, right, I was walking down Oxford Street in that there London, Dave. I don't know if you've heard of it.
It's expensive.
Yes, I delivered down there, mate, all round the London.
I bet you do deliver. Hey, what? And there was this fella in a high-vis jacket and a hard hat helmet was trying to stop pedestrians, right, so that a truck could go past, could pull out. Well, I walked past him and he went, "Oi, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going over there." "You're not allowed to."
Yeah, I
Dave,
know.
you're in.
Oh, thanks.
I ignored his instructions. He's just a bloke. Don't tell me where I can and can't walk, fella.
But is that true, though? Is that what Mr. Lloyd said? A police officer, a PSO, can't walk out into the road and control traffic?
He did say that. I don't know to what extent that was meant. I didn't ask him.
Well, what are they actually there for? Mind you, they are good. They're in my area. They are good.
So you've just said, what are they actually there for? And then in the same sentence, you said, but yeah, they are good. So what's your beef?
Yeah,
with PCOs?
They are good people. They talk to you, and they have.
Well, no one else does.
But they told us they haven't got the pound. Well, you do, don't you?
I'm contractually obliged to have at least one nutcase on every week.
You got a beef on about me, ain't you, pal?
Yeah, I got
Where's
something
that
on.
Justin Dealey and all.
Yeah.
I want to see him and all.
OK, I'm going to cut you off now, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Let's go to Steve in Redbourne. Morning, Steve.
Morning, mate.
I'm sorry you have to sit...
Is he the missing link? He's
Hang on a minute.
isn't he?
Hang on a minute. He's our Dave.
You can have him if you want, though, Dave.
If you admit him to be yours, oh, blimey.
Steve, you don't half sound like him. He's got the same speech patterns and the same dirty laugh, the same Sid James.
Say,
Yes,
hell
mate.
mess.
No, thank you.
Oh, he's just as awkward.
Steve, you've called in about banging.
Yeah. They test all the fireworks up near us. And that must be the biggest drug dealers in the country, then.
Well, we had one caller suggesting that setting off fireworks was a drug code to mean the shipments in. It was the bugle. So you're saying there are lots of fireworks near you, are there?
Oh, yeah, all the time. You know, when they produce these new ones and that, they test them right near us. You can have them going off in the middle of the day or late at night.
Well, what time is late at night? Because surely a fireworks testing factory would have limits as to what time they could test them.
I suppose it'd be 9, 10 o'clock at night. They've been going up there sometimes.
No, that's outrageous.
It's fantastic. I tell you, some of the fireworks that goes up there is unbelievable.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, really
How do they make the fireworks, right, that do the shape? You know that they can make like a heart inside a heart shape?
That's only in cartoons.
No, I've seen them do it.
No.
I have seen them do it. What are they testing them for, Steve? To see, whether the bang is... to see whether people go, ooh, ah.
Bang is what?
That's
pleasing.
The one. I'm standing there looking over thinking to myself, bloody hell, there's no 30 quid gone up in it in flames.
Yeah, you are like my dad and how I am becoming. Since turning 40, I'm doing the maths as every single one is going bang.
Well, you know, they was on about them fireworks going off the other day, said it was a good display. That sounds like it's one of them boxes what you can buy, and I think they're about 100 quid a time.
Here's something, Steve. Here's something. I was so brainwashed by the propaganda in the 70s and 80s. That advert where that girl picks up that sparkler and she burns her hand, and the next day she's got a big bandage on. So I was so brainwashed by that propaganda. I have never, in my life, apart from sparklers, I have never lit a firework. Ever.
Yeah.
No, never lit a firework.
When I was at school, I was always lighting fireworks. I was always in trouble.
Well, yeah, it's people like you that put me off it, Steve.
No, it's good fun, isn't it, really?
Well, Steve, thank you. I have never lit a firework.
Well, Helen in Milton Keynes will be glad of that because she sent us a text through.
Oh, go on.
Fireworks. It's against the law to set off fireworks between 11 and 7 a.m, except on November the 5th, extended to midnight for New Year's Eve, Diwali and Chinese New Year when it's extended to 1 a.m. Fireworks are, to me, another form of smoking.
Oh.
And a waste of money.
Oh, that's not bad. I like that argument. Very quickly, before we go to the travel, talking about celebrities who refuse to sign autographs. Corey on Twitter. Me, age 10. Not only did Brian Robson refuse me an autograph, he pushed me out of the way.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off with the problems on the M1 heading northbound. Closed at the moment between junction 11 at Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick. We are seeing queues now back to junction 9 at Redbourne following an accident that happened earlier on this morning, causing delays on the southbound stretch of the M1 as well. The M1 London bound, that's looking very slow at junction 9 for Redbourne due to an accident that's happened there as well. And the A1M heading southbound, that's queuing as well between junction 7 for Stevenage and junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City. No problems or delays on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you. Nicola, have you ever asked anyone for their autograph?
No, I haven't actually.
I think maybe it's a bloke's thing to do.
Yeah, no. I might soon, though, in the future.
Well, there you go. You see, that's something to look forward to, isn't it, eh? Look out, celebs. Nicola is coming to you with a Sharpie.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: the M1 closed for 5 junctions through Bedfordshire. A report says there's confusion about the role of PCSOs, and a man in dispute with Bedford Council over the name of his house.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire police say the M1 has been closed northbound throughout the county following a serious accident this morning. The carriageway's been closed between junctions 9 in Hertfordshire and junction 13 at Milton Keynes South. A report into the role of community police officers says there's significant differences in the way they're being used. Her Majesty's Inspectorate says in Hertfordshire, PCSOs are being used to investigate crimes, while in Buckinghamshire they're being used to take sheltered housing residents their dinner. Hertfordshire Police Commissioner David Lloyd believes the report is unfairly critical.
You don't need a police officer always to turn up. First of all, when someone gets burgled, you might want to take evidence, which you can take without having a police officer there. They seem to want a uniformity of policing across the whole country. I don't want a uniformity. I want policing to reflect the local community.
Patient groups in Milton Keynes say a lack of GPs in the new city is putting public safety at risk. The Milton Keynes village practice in Middleton has been forced to close its books to new patients for the 5th time. Rosemary James from the surgery's patient participation group says it can take up to 4 weeks to get an appointment.
The practice are very good at trying to accommodate you on the day for urgent matters, but they have limited resources, and it may well mean that patients are not able to seek the help they need, which is a serious worry and concern.
Commuters on the Thameslink line from Bedford to Brighton are travelling with train company Govia from today. As part of its new 7-year franchise, the company has been told it has to deal with overcrowding and trains not running on time. Govia's chief executive, Charles Horton, says they need to regain the trust of travellers.
I think one of the things that we're going to be doing is being open and transparent and telling people how we're doing. I think that's very important to people feeling confident that we're doing the right things and having an opportunity to put their view across about what they would like to see in terms of improvements. We've obviously got a lot of ideas and a lot of plans, but we do want to listen to passengers and we want to do the right things by them as well.
A man from Clapham is in dispute with Bedford Borough Council over the name of his house. Landscape gardener Daniel Lewis has been told he can't call it Hardcore Mansions because it sounds too rude. Daniel, who's put up the sign anyway in pink neon letters, told Iain Lee he can't understand what the problem is.
Well, they said it was inappropriate and could be offensive. I did outline that there was, a number of different meanings to hardcore, but no, they just took it down the sexual route and told me I couldn't have it.
In sport, the MK Dons are third in League One after beating Barnsley 5-3. Elsewhere, there were wins for Luton, Stevenage, Wickham, but defeat for Watford. The weather will be cloudy with scattered showers, but turning brighter later. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. That's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Thank you very much, Lee. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Suddenly it's 3 minutes past 8. It's Monday. Where are we, the 15th or something of September? Ouch! Hey, do you remember summer? That was like forever ago. Forever ago. Coming up, PCSOs Are they doing the right job, or are they doing stuff that maybe they shouldn't be doing? A doctor's surgery has had to change the toilets into, well, a consultation room. Hardcore Mansions, are you offended? When has a celebrity told you, no, they're not going to sign something for you? And I know we're all over the shop today, it's one of those, but these ISIL, IS, whatever, people who are murdering people indiscriminately, should we pay the ransom? Yeah, of course we should. Of course we should. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, patient groups at a surgery in Milton Keynes say patient safety is being put at risk as there is not enough GP provision in the new city. It's not really a city. The pressure on the Milton Keynes village practice in Middleton is so great it's had to convert a dirty utility room and toilet into consulting rooms. The practice has just had to close its books to new patients for the 5th time following the local increase in population and the closure of the nearby Willan surgery. Well, Dr. Darren Moore is one of the GPs at the MK Village Practice and joins me now. Morning, Darren.
Hi there, good morning.
You're very worried, aren't you, about how oversubscribed you are? Kind of explain the problem.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of new development throughout Milton Keynes, but particularly where we are on the eastern side, in our practice area, there's lots of pockets of new housing being put up. And looking on the council website, that's suggesting that in the next 7 years there's going to be another 9,000 houses putting up on our core practice area, which will represent somewhere in the range of sort of 10 to 15,000 patients. Our current list size at the moment for the practice is just over 14,000 patients. And with 6 full-time GPs, that gives us about 2,300 patients each to look after. That's very high. The national average for a GP is about 1,800. And Milton Keynes is round about 2,000. So even compared with Milton Keynes, we've got a very, very high patient list. And by maintaining that level of patient numbers, it means that it's much harder for patients to get access to appointments to see their GP, much harder to be able to talk to them on the phone, and also a lot of pressure on our staff to deal with the paperwork, administration, and all the face-to-face contact we have with our patients.
You've closed your books, haven't you? You're not taking any more new patients?
That's right, yeah. As of end of last week, we unfortunately had to close our books again just to try and slow down our rate of growth and ensure that we can see our own existing patients and give them the service that they deserve and need. We spoke earlier on to a local resident who says that getting an appointment at your surgery, and this is in no way a criticism, but getting an appointment at your surgery, unless it's really urgent, it can be weeks before they're seen by a doctor, and they're concerned that patients' lives are being put at risk. What's your response to that, Doctor? Well, absolutely. We completely agree with that, and that's why we've had to take this measure to close our list so that we can ensure that our patients can be seen. We feel very, very uncomfortable that our patients do have to wait longer than they should do for a routine appointment. And we've actually consulted very heavily with our patient groups to make sure that closing our list was the right decision. By closing our list, it lets our patient numbers drop a little bit, which will ensure that our existing patients can be seen when they need to. Are lives at risk, do you think, if this situation continues? Well, certainly in our practice, we've always prided ourselves on allowing patients to be seen when they need to be. So certainly for a routine problem, sometimes the wait can be a little bit longer than it should be, maybe up to a couple of weeks. But if there's an urgent problem, we will always see our patients or speak to them on that day. You've written about this, haven't you, in the BMA and a newsletter for GPs. I'd imagine that that's quite an unusual step to take. Why did you do that? Yeah, well, we were in a very, very stressful position where when we've got our list open, because of all the new housing going on in our area, we're taking on up to 50 to 100 patients every single week. And that rate of growth is not sustainable. We've had long conversations with NHS England, who are the body who basically look at primary care provision in the area, to try and look for a solution. And so far, we're still waiting for a long-term plan to be put in place. So we did have to, with consultation with our patients, look at closing our list to try and ensure that, again, our patient safety was paramount. And what's this, Doctor, about converting a dirty utility room and toilet into consulting rooms? Well, clearly we got rid of the toilet in the first place before we put patients in.
Yes, I would imagine so. Yes, well done. Good work.
But it was, again, about utilising our space to its maximum. So it was about taking the spaces we've got, making the best use of the space so we could use patients to be seen in those areas, and obviously anything that could be moved upstairs out of sort of the general patient contact area was done. So moving a toilet which was not necessarily needed, moving storerooms and utility rooms outside the core patient area just made sense to be able to maximise our capacity.
What help are you getting from the NHS?
Well, there's currently a review going on, not only nationally but also locally at general practice provision and ensuring there's enough GPs and surgeries available. Unfortunately, that review's in progress and isn't expected to give any answers until sometime next year. So it's being looked at, but not fast enough for our needs, which is why, again, we had to close.
I really appreciate your time this morning, Dr. Darren Moore. Thank you very much. One of the GPs at the MK Village practice. If you know the surgery, give us a call. He sounds like if he's your local doctor, you sounds like you're in good hands. He's got his head screwed on, hasn't he? His head sounds like he's screwed on, and he wants the best for his patients. Well, if you are one of those patients, do give us a call. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We've, if I'm honest, Kels, we've had a few complaints this morning. We've had a few complaints that we're not talking about Prince William's 30th birthday. I believe, was it Joyce that called in to have a little complaint? I think it was, saying we should be talking... It's Prince William's 30th birthday today. We should be talking about it and celebrating it. Well, I heard that today he's going to inherit... Guess how much he's going to inherit today? Or he'll have access to a trust fund. Guess how much? Guess how much? Wrong. £10.5 million. 10.5 million... I mean, we can talk about that if you want... I don't quite know what there is to be said about a young man inheriting £10.5 million today.
Congratulations. And you're welcome.
And could you pay off my mortgage, please? You wouldn't even notice. You wouldn't even notice.
Yeah. What about Harry's birthday gift to us all?
So was it Joyce that complained?
Yeah.
That we weren't.
She said, how can you not be discussing this? I went, are you really that bothered, Joyce? But she'd already put the phone down.
I did a Mexican wave with Prince Harry last night.
Now, how close to Prince Harry were you in this Mexican wave?
Way back.
Let me look at the front page of the papers, because I did know it was his birthday. Not on the front page of the Daily Mail, not on the front page of the Express, not on the front page of the Sun.
We don't really do birthday shout-outs, though, do we?
This is different. This is not the future King of England.
Well, yeah.
It's not on the front page of the Independent. They've all surprisingly gone for these British men who have been and potentially will be murdered. I would suggest slightly more important. Not on the front page of the Independent. Times. Tiny little paragraph about the Invictus Games doesn't mention his birthday. I hope, Joyce, you're phoning up all of these publications and having a right old go at them as well. The front page of The Guardian. No, not at all. The front page of The Telegraph. Isn't it funny? I'm doing a review of the front page of the papers by telling you what's not on them. And no, so none of the papers mention Prince Harry's 30th birthday. I wonder why. Let me think. Because, I don't know, maybe nobody's interested? Is that it? I think that's it. Joyce, if you want to come on and tell us why we should be talking about Prince Harry's birthday.
He's only the spare, and he's getting further and further down the line all the time.
And, you know, and it's everyone's saying, well, he really is a remarkable young man. Remember, he was the guy that went to a party dressed up as a Nazi? Do you know, I know it was young, and it was a long time ago. He was the guy who, the royal who allowed himself to be photoed naked. I know it was a long time ago, and he was a young man, but still...
He's kind of just a fella, isn't he?
He's just a fella with a lot of money. 3 years ago, he was a joke, and we all hated him.
No, I kind of like him. He's cheeky.
He's all right.
And there are a lot of cheeky boys out there.
Sorry?
I love Harry.
You've gone all girly.
I know.
I mean, he's all right. I'm indifferent towards him. And I know I said the royals are better than us. I wouldn't include him in that list. I'm indifferent towards him. You know, best of luck to him. He's had he lost his mum quite young. That's really sad. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But, you know, celebrating his 30th birthday... If his 30th is anything like mine, he'll be face down in a bar in North London, sobbing.
Would you be more bothered if we all got a day off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, a day off.
There you go for your 40th, Harry. Sort it out.
Joyce is up. Called in. Morning, Joyce.
Who's taking my name in vain?
Oh.
Off with his head. That's yours.
Oh, mine. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Why should we be talking about Prince Harry's birthday today?
Oh, come on.
All right, Gary
Everybody
Glitter.
needs a birthday.
Well, he's got one. I'm not denying him a birthday.
know, but he's done such a lot, and he's such a lovely lad when he was little and growing up and everything.
What about the middle bit when he dressed up as a Nazi?
He needs our support.
What? Hang on a minute. He's just got £10.5 million today.
It doesn't matter.
What support does he need from us?
What is money if you haven't got happiness, eh?
He's got happiness.
Anyway,
Have you seen the girls he hangs out with? He's batting way out of his league.
I would wish him a happy birthday.
Well, I just seen that Kelly would wish him a happy birthday as well in a very unique way.
I served his mum at the co-op up at Stopsley. Yeah, and we followed the royal family right the way through.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I'm sort of Queen Mum.
Yeah. Oh.
And yeah.
The co-op?
No. The Queen Mum was at Enfield, Reigate and Surrey.
Yeah.
And everywhere, and the photograph is in my front room.
Well, good for you. Catherine wants to say something about this. Catherine.
I have nothing to say about this at all.
Oh.
No, well, anyway.
Edward is... And listen, Edward, I've said that the royals are better than us. They're certainly better than you, Joyce. They're certainly better than me. But Prince Harry is one of those...
No, sorry. I disagree.
Anyway, there's no point wishing him a happy birthday yet. He won't be up till about 10.
You're right there.
Joyce, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Who's right, Joyce or me?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off with the problems on the M1 heading northbound. Still closed at the moment between junction 11 at Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick. We are seeing congestion now back to junction 9 at Redbourne following an accident that happened earlier on this morning. Queuing at the moment in Dunstable on the High Street heading northbound between Church Street and Woburn Road as people are trying to divert away from the M1. The A1M's looking very slow heading southbound between junction 7 at Stevenage and also junction 10 for Baldock. Just getting in that all lanes have been reopened though following an accident there. Taking a look so far at the A40 Western Avenue, very slow moving between Oxford Road and Gypsy Corner. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Very much. Right, it's 8:16. It is Monday the 15th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The emergency services are dealing with a serious accident on the M1 northbound in Bedfordshire, which has closed 5 junctions from Redbourne. An official report says PCSOs in Hertfordshire are carrying out jobs that they aren't trained to do. And a man from Clapham has been told by Bedford Borough Council he can't officially change the name of his house to Hardcore Mansions.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, Scotland.
On September the 18th, will Scotland vote for independence or to stay part of the United Kingdom? The BBC's online coverage will keep you up to date with every development.
We've brought together the biggest names in Scottish politics to debate the country's future.
Plus, in-depth analysis, expert opinion and live streaming of the key moments.
It will be the people that make the choice, and it's a choice about what is Scottish society going to become.
The Scottish referendum, across the BBC. On TV, radio and online. For more information, search online for BBC Scotland Decides.
They'll say no. They'll say no.
Will they?
They'll say no. They just want a bit of attention.
If they say no, they'll blame it on the BBC.
Of course they will.
Yes, they'll blame it on you, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it'll be your fault.
Those crazy Scotch. What? You're filling in for JVS this week?
I am, yes.
He's training his dog.
He is. He's on paternity leave. Have you ever heard anything so utterly ludicrous?
Ridiculous.
I've never known anybody to take holiday because of a pet.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What have you got on your show today?
Well, we'll have more on the man who wants to call his house Hardcore Mansions, which was funny earlier. It's even funnier now.
Yep.
It's a gift that keeps on giving. Plus, we're going to continue with what you've been discussing this morning. It's the big phone-in. I'm in for Jonathan after 9. Is it time we start paying ransoms to save innocent British people in the Middle East? The front page is this weekend, again dominated by the image of a British citizen in an orange boiler suit. It was David Haynes. And now there's another chap who's being threatened with his life. Unless, of course, we pay up. But should we? You've been saying yes all morning. I'll be saying no and telling you why at 9 o'clock.
I look forward to listening to it.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
You can give us a call about that. I do think we should be paying the ransom. You look at the picture on the front page of Alan Henning.
But that's exactly why they're doing it. And you can't. Because for that life, you give them £1 million and they take countless others.
Just think if it was my brother. I know, and I'm looking in Alan Henning's eyes, and I made a point at the weekend, because I'd kind of not really been following this story, I made a point of looking up David Haynes before he was murdered and reading about him and the fact he's got 2 daughters, one's 17, one's 4 months, he's got a wife, he comes from Fife in Scotland, and it makes it real. It's a real person. And it's not a soldier. Now, that's not in any way to say that soldiers should be murdered, of course not, but I do think it is a slightly different thing when it's an aid worker or a journalist. Again, that's slightly different, but an aid worker and a journalist, I think, compared to a soldier.
Well, they're soft targets for a start, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly, and not saying... people will be mishearing what I'm saying. I'm not saying in any way that I would like to see soldiers murdered, of course not, but I do think it's different when it is a civilian, when it is someone who has gone out there to help orphaned kids, as opposed to someone who is a representative of the government and what the government is trying to achieve. I think it's a different argument. I think totally, with Mr. Henning, Alan Henning, we should pay £1 million and get him back. Totally, and deal with the consequences later. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give me a call on that. And we'll also have the latest on what's happening on the M1 throughout the show, if you're struggling with that, if you're stuck in the traffic there, and it's safe and legal to do so. Give us a call. Now, police community support officers in Buckinghamshire will be bringing sheltered housing residents fish and chips this week. Ah, that's nice. Meanwhile, at the other extreme, PCSOs in Hertfordshire are being used to investigate crimes which they aren't trained to do. That's according to the independent watchdog, Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, which says there's a significant variation in the way PCSOs are used. We can speak now to Chief Inspector Gavin Hughes-Rowlands from Bedfordshire Police. Good morning, Gavin.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Although listeners on DAB may just have heard my stomach rumble then. I'm getting hungry. Now, the HMIC report says that Beds Police is using PCSOs in line with their role and training. But you are planning to give them extra responsibilities. What will those responsibilities be and why?
Well, the responsibilities come into force on the 20th of October in line with some new legislation called the Antisocial Behaviour, Crime and Policing Act. And a large proportion of that act is all around how the police respond to antisocial behaviour and amends the previously complicated powers that we had to deal with antisocial behaviour and condenses them into 6 fairly straightforward offences that are easy for everybody to understand. One of the real big bonuses for us in relation to that is that some of these powers are actually devolved now to PCSOs. So not only can they use them for their long-term problem solving, which is a key part of their role, they do have some powers to back up that particular work.
What powers will they be given, Gavin, and when would they use them?
Well, there's a power called the dispersal order, which is authorised by an inspector, and that would last for about 48 hours, and that would be used in response to increasing antisocial behaviour in a particular area. And that gives checks and balances to the power and makes sure that it's used proportionately, and that allows police officers and PCSOs to give notices to people to say that they must leave a particular area if we suspect that they're involved in antisocial behaviour.
Now, police officers have had that power before. Are you saying that it's new for PCSOs to be able to do that?
It's new for the PCSOs to be able to direct people to leave,
right.
Yes.
OK. What does a PCSO's normal shift involve, if such a thing exists?
Well, yeah, as you rightly say, if such a thing exists, and that is the nature of policing, they can be faced with all sorts of things. But generally speaking, they're a high-visibility resource that work in particular communities. They get to know their communities, and they're looking for problem-solving approaches to try and improve the quality of life in those areas, deter people from crime and antisocial behaviour. And one of the things that these powers will allow them to do is not only deal with the long-term problem-solving that they're very, very good at doing, but they will also be able to do the here and now because they're in the area, they own these problems, and it seems only fitting that they have some powers to be able to allow them to enforce them as well.
The argument against them, Gavin, I'm sure you've heard loads of times, is actually, we want to see real coppers out on the street. How would you counter that?
Well, all I would say is that the word real coppers really doesn't show any understanding for the role of a PCSO, and they're highly skilled in what they do, albeit their role is slightly different from a warranted police officer. In Bedfordshire, a lot of our warranted police officers are working what we call local policing roles. They're responding to incidents based on threat, risk and harm. Our PCSOs primarily, albeit they do get involved in assisting their police officer colleagues in those threat, risk and harm issues, work around problem-solving, long-term community initiatives, getting involved and knowing their communities, old-fashioned beat Bobby type work, and they've been doing this really, really well, but without any powers to enable them to force people to do things that they need them to do. And they've obviously had to call on their uniformed police officer colleagues in order to let them do that. So that obviously takes away our ability to use uniformed police officers for other things.
A question we had from Dave from Luton, Gavin. Are PCSOs allowed to stop traffic and control traffic?
PCSOs, no, not necessarily. But what we would say is obviously police officers, when they're not out and about, would obviously be able to sort of do that as part of their warranted powers. A PCSO wouldn't necessarily stop vehicles, but there may well be a threat issue that they wanted to flag somebody down, just like the member of the public would do.
Right. And finally, I know it's not on your watch, but what do you think about these PCSOs taking fish and chips to old people in Milton Keynes? Is that really a good use of resources?
I couldn't comment on that. I don't know what the initiative is, and I've only heard just a little snippet from you there, Ian. It wouldn't be proper for me to comment on that.
Would you get your guys to do that?
Well, it would all depend on what the outcome is, and what the intention of the initiative is for. As I said, police officers and PCSOs are working in communities to try and improve the quality of life, get to know people, get involved in hard-to-reach communities as well. And if taking fish and chips to a particular area of the community is getting involved and getting to know hard-to-reach parts of our community, then I'd say that was a positive thing, because sometimes these little initiatives are a great in for us to get involved and bring people's confidence up.
Gavin, thank you very much for your time. Nice to talk to you. Chief Inspector Gavin Hughes-Rowlands from Bedfordshire Police.
I'm feeling a bit distanced from the police this morning, but it could all be solved. With a bacon buddy.
If there are any PCSOs that want to bring some fried food products to these old people, then we would gratefully accept them.
Community harmony.
Do you know what? I fancy a bag of chip shop chips.
I want pie and mash.
What?
Pie and mash.
Oh, I could eat anything, but I want a bag of chip shop chips in a bag, too much salt, too much vinegar.
Open the lid off the pie and put all the chips in.
What?
Yeah.
You're insane, yeah.
Yes.
The way to do fish and chips is vinegar.
Loads, yeah.
Salt.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vinegar again. Yeah, that's the way you do it, baby.
I like it when it hits the back of your nose as it's going.
When do they open?
Not until like lunchtime or something.
Do you know what? You know, like sometimes you have things and you think, why don't I eat this all the time?
Yeah.
Like jam butties or cornflakes, right? Which I never have.
Yeah.
And then occasionally I do, and I go, oh, why don't I have this all the time?
I like
chip butties.
I like the pasties. What do you like, Kath?
I like a meat and tater pie.
What do you like, Kels?
I like the chicken and mushroom pie.
David Guest, what do you like?
I like the mushy peas.
Okay, fair enough. We're all sorted.
I knew that was coming.
Predictable, but funny. Mary's in Hemel. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Ian.
What would you like to say to us on this wonderful morning?
Well, I'd like you to stop stabbing all the time at the Royals. It gets very, very boring.
Stabbing at them?
Yes. Leave them alone.
I did just have been saying that the royal family are better than us.
Yes, I know, and it's obviously sarcasm, but leave them alone. It's very easy to attack people when they can't fight back.
Well, they can. They've got helicopters.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
But also, Mary, no, I take great offence.
You're talking about him dressing up as a Nazi.
Yes.
OK, fair enough, it was wrong.
Yeah.
But Ed Balls did the same thing.
I'm not talking about Ed Balls, though. It's not Ed Balls' 30th birthday.
Ed Balls did the same thing.
It's not Ed Balls' 30th birthday.
Can you let let me speak?
Well, no, because it's not relevant, Mary. And also, I have to.
Let me speak?
No, I have to pick you up on something. I take great.
Can you let me speak?
No, you have.
It's not just you on the phone.
No, I know, Mary. But you have said something that is untrue, Mary, and so I wish to correct it, and then I will let you continue. Irrelevant. Irrelevant.
But yet you completely
irrelevant.
Prince Harry.
Is it Ed Balls' 30th birthday, Mary?
You silly little man. Let somebody else speak.
Is it Ed Balls' 30th birthday? Have you hung up, Mary? Have you done a hit and run? Right, 2 things. Silly little man that she is. 2 things, right? Don't hang up. Don't do a hit and run. 3 things. 1, don't do a hit and run. It's cowardly. 2 things. It's not Ed Balls' 30th birthday, so there's not reason to talk about it. 3rd thing.
We didn't want to talk about it in the first place. Joyce, see what you've started?
4th thing. When I say the royal family are better than us, I mean it. I actually had a row with Catherine at the weekend about this. I genuinely mean it, Mary. So please, don't come on and tell me what I mean and what I don't mean. And then don't do a hit and run off like a coward.
Ed Balls is 47.
Today?
25th of February.
Well, on the 25th of February, we'll talk about him dressing up as a Nazi, possibly. Flippin' heck, Mary.
Anyway, happy birthday, Harry.
Happy birthday, Harry.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the problems of the M1 heading northbound. Still closed at the moment between junction 11 for Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick. We are seeing queues back to junction 9 at Redbourne following an accident that happened earlier on this morning. Also seeing long delays on the M1 heading southbound due to people slowing down there. Queuing at the moment in Dunstable on the High Street between Church Street and Wyburn Road as people divert away from the M1 there. The A1M, very slow moving and long delays between junction 7 for Stevenage and junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City. There's also been an accident there. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, very slow moving between junction 19 at Watford and junction 16 for the M40. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, thank you very much. On Twitter, we're getting some great celebrities refusing to sign stories. 08459 455 555. Let's get the news now. Here's Lee.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. The M1 has been closed northbound throughout Bedfordshire following a multiple pile-up this morning. The carriageway's been shut between junctions 9 in Hertfordshire and junction 13 at Milton Keynes South. The Hertfordshire Police Commissioner David Lloyd is defending the way PCSOs are being used in the county. An official report has criticised the force for using them to investigate crimes. Patient groups in Milton Keynes say safety is being put at risk because there aren't enough doctors in the new city. The village practice in Middleton has been forced to stop taking new patients because so many are trying to join. And a man from Clapham is in dispute with Bedford Borough Council over the name of his house. Landscape gardener Daniel Lewis has been told he can't call it hardcore mansions because it sounds too rude. The weather will be cloudy today with scattered showers. Top temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. That's 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The MK Dons hope midfielder Mark Randall will sign a new contract this week. He played in their 5-3 win at Barnsley, which lifted the Dons up to third in League One. Manager Carl Robinson says they want to conclude a longer deal with Randall and some other squad members as well.
Hopefully we'll be signing a new contract, hopefully this week. I'd like to sit down and give him a new contract, a longer term contract, because he's given up an awful lot to be here, and we're trying to get that sorted. And 1 or 2 other new contracts hopefully we get sorted over the next few weeks.
Elsewhere, there were wins for Luton Town, Stevenage and Wickham in League 2. Watford lost their first match under Oscar Garcia. All of our Football League sides are in action tomorrow night. In the Premier League, Manchester United beat Queen's Park Rangers 4-0 to get their first win under Louis van Gaal. The United boss says the result can act as the beginning of a new era at the club.
What I have said also to the players, I can say also to the fans, this is the new start of Manchester United, and we shall improve every week.
And in golf, Rory McIlroy missed out on winning the PGA Tour Championship in Atlanta, and with it a £6 million bonus. A disappointing final round saw him finish in a tie for second place, 3 shots behind the winner Billy Horschel of America. And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport. More at 9 o'clock.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A little recap shall we? We've gone from the serious, talking about whether the ransom should be paid to IS, ISIL, ISIS, whatever they want to call themselves. I think we should be paying a ransom of £1 million to rescue British citizens who are being murdered. It seems obvious to me. It seems a no-brainer. Not many people agreeing with me. 08459 455 555 if you want your say.
And we've got some more text on this.
Oh, go
as
on.
well. If you want to send some text through, you can do that. Put 3CR in the beginning. What is it? What's the number? 81333, is that right?
Yes, it is.
We'll go for that one.
Gosh.
Helen in Milton Keynes says paying the ransom money would fund more deaths, injuries and genocide of people that aid workers are trying to help. I mean, that's true. You can't deny that. This is a problem. And
if it was your brother or your dad or your son or your sister or your husband, you would want them out.
But for the greater good, you've got to think bigger picture. Surely you've got to think bigger picture. 08459 455 555. There's also a question of missing appointments, which was touched on earlier on. Do you remember?
Yeah.
We're talking about the stretched GP services in Milton Keynes. If you miss an appointment with a dentist, you'll find if the same people keep missing appointments, the practice should discuss this with them and find out why. And if it's lack of manners, they won't change. They should be fine. That's from Helen.
Talking about celebrities that have refused to sign things for you.
Yeah.
This is after Gary Busey, the actor, refused. No, I'm not going to sign that now. Refused to sign a DVD for me. I was
It's
humiliated.
unlike him to be rude, isn't it?
Yes. Richard says on Twitter, Daley Thompson wouldn't sign for me because he was competing. I asked 10 minutes after his event had finished. Julia says, 30 years ago, aged 13 with two mates, Shaka Khan barged past us, hand in the air like she was way too busy and important.
Oh.
Her tour manager was so ashamed of her, he took us onto a tour bus and let us rifle through her stuff.
What?
Claire says, I had the reverse problem. I saw Des Lynam at an event. He tried to sign the book in my hand thinking I wanted his autograph. I didn't. And Usman says, so the Prince gets £10.5 million and Phones for You, go where I work, goes in administration. That puts it into it. 5,500 people lost their jobs today. One 30-year-old has got £10.5 million.
Because he's worth it.
Because he's worth it. Rob's on the M1. Morning, Rob.
Morning, Ian. How you doing?
Yeah, problems on the M1. Where are you and what can you tell us?
Okay, well, I'm just sat on the M1 just south of Junction 10 at the moment. The motorway is actually open. It's not closed from Junction 9, as your reports are saying. But it's taken me, 50 minutes to get from Junction 9 to Junction 10.
Oh, blimey.
And I'm actually sat now with the engine turned off. So it is moving now and again, but if anyone is actually travelling northbound, I wouldn't bother this morning.
Can you? I'm assuming you're too far back to see anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they're saying it's between 11 and 12, then I'm quite a way back.
Have people started doing that thing? That I've been stuck in traffic jams, and this always makes me uncomfortable when people start getting out of their cars.
Oh yeah, I've seen that this morning. People getting out, getting in their boots, getting in the back of the car. Yeah, but what else can you do, I suppose?
Rob,
pick up a book and start reading.
Rob, thank you very much indeed. Keep listening. We'll be giving updates throughout the morning as to what's going on there. Sounds a mess, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and we're not exactly sure what's going on there at the moment. We'll give you as much information as we can as and when we get it.
If anyone's a little bit further up from Rob, he's just before Junction 10, 08459 455 555. Give us a call and let us know if you can see anything. We've had no one calling in apart from that. Who was that silly woman? Mary. We've had no one calling in saying we should be talking about Prince Harry's 30th birthday, apart from Joyce and Mary, who said that I was being disrespectful. But hang on a minute, I've said the royal family are better than me. Where's the disrespect there? I'm completely genuine when I say this. It annoys me that she thought I wasn't being genuine. Fact, they're better than me. Apart from Harry, who's a plum.
Autographs.
Yeah, go on.
Do you want another text?
Yeah, go on.
This is from Jean in Shefford. Talking about autographs, Martin Shaw refused to sign my theatre programme. He was playing Elvis in the London stage show Are You Lonesome Tonight around 1979. All that time ago.
Yeah,
still hurts, you can tell.
Yeah.
He was quite rude when my friend and I asked him at the stage door after the show. No worries, though, as I have a genuine autograph by the King himself.
In your face, Bodie or Doyle!
Please, Ian, no rude comments about my man Elvis. From Jean in Shefford.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's rubbish, but I'd still mind an Elvis autograph.
Martin Shaw has a bit of a name for himself for being quite serious, doesn't he?
The Grumpster, I believe, is his nickname. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. One of the things that Dave will be talking about, we've been talking about it all morning, it's the front page of all of the newspapers. He's a Manchester taxi driver, says the Mail, who went to Syria to help refugees. Now he's facing death at the hands of Jihadi John. Find him before it's too late. Two things. Can we stop calling him Jihadi John? It makes him sound like a cartoon character. He's a murderer. He's a nasty, nasty murderer. Jihadi John makes it sound, hey, Jihadi John, whoa! Can we stop calling him that, please? Can we stop printing pictures of him on the front page of newspapers, please? That's what he wants. And can we please start paying the ransom for these guys? I really genuinely believe it's an option. France pay ransoms, Italy pay ransoms.
And maybe that's the reason why people keep getting taken hostage. Have you thought of that? It's become a nice little earner.
The reason that the Brits and we know why the Brits and the Americans are being paraded around, because we are the most hated by these idiots. These idiots. 08459 455 555. We had an email about this. Iain, if a ransom is paid for an aid worker, then every other aid worker becomes a target. They're targets already. If a ransom is paid for a journalist, every other journalist becomes a target. They're targets already. That's the thing. Your desire to pay a ransom wouldn't mean, as you suggest, dealing with consequences later. It would simply place those trying to carry out essential aid... Sorry? It would place those trying to carry out essential aid or journalistic work in serious danger now. Word of their presence will be fed back through local communities in return for a section of the reward the ransom would then finance. Yeah, but they're in danger now. They're in danger now. That's the thing. Their lives are at great risk now. 08459 455 555.
I had a word from Mark the Courier on the phone about this situation on the M1.
Oh, yeah.
He said that what's being relayed to him from his control centre is that there's been an overturned vehicle somewhere along that stretch of the road. If anyone knows any more, 08459 455 555.
Well, let's hope that everybody is safe and well and that there have been no injuries, serious or otherwise. I need to have a word before the end of the show with Justin Dealey. Because we sent him to Hardcore Mansions. Great story. This fella, he wanted to name his house Hardcore Mansions. The council have said no. He's kind of ignored them and done it anyway. Brilliant work. Well done. We asked him to take some pictures. Can we tweet and Facebook the pictures he sent us? Because they are flipping awful. Can we shame Justin Dealey?
Well, I'm always all for that, but he's on a top secret mission at the moment. I'll try and get hold of him.
OK, because I'm not one for shaming. I don't like shaming, but in this instance, it needs to be done.
This sort of photography is a whole new world for him. Normally he photographs one subject.
Himself.
So he's had to turn
a very specific
around.
part of himself. Kelly, Justin's pictures he sent us, can we put them on Facebook and Twitter and name and shame him as perhaps the worst photographer at BBC Three Counties Radio?
I thought it was Tony Fisher when you got his shadow in there.
Tony Fisher always, that's his little Hitchcock thing. He likes to always put his shadow in. But Justin Dealey, these pictures are flipping awful.
They're not that bad.
Because you can't see anything. It's like a picture my mum took. Awful. We'll put them on Facebook and Twitter at BBC3CR and at Iain Lee. Anyway, we sent Justin out on a mission to get your stories about autographs. Have celebrities ever refused you an autograph? Now, I know I have paid for autographs in the past. I've paid the monkeys for autographs in the past. One of them.
How much? How much?
What do you mean?
How much did you pay?
Depends.
To someone for writing their name?
Yeah, I paid one of them.
What, straight up? You gave the money into their hand?
Pretty much.
He's working something out here.
I paid one of them.
Take your hands away from your mouth. Let me see
I paid one of them $100.
Really?
Yeah, $100.
And what did he sign?
Just his name. If I wanted my name, it'd have been another $40.
Wow. What did he sign, though? Piece of paper?
CD. So I've got all four of them now on this CD. $100. That was a one-off, right? But I do think, come on, celebs. All you got to do is write your John Henry on a thing. There we go, I've done it. It's less than a second.
How much would you charge? What's the maximum you think you could get away with charging?
I don't know, 50 quid? Sorry? Well, 60 quid then. I could 60 quid.
What? Really? I'd probably swap it for a Twix, but I wouldn't pay money. Not 50
Kath,
quid.
you pay 60 quid for me to sign something, wouldn't you? Gosh.
Awkward.
I mean, at the moment you're paying people to ask, aren't you?
OK. We sent Justin out on the street. This is what they said to him.
Christine, let's get your story. Who refused to sign an autograph for you?
David Hasselhoff.
That is disgusting.
Kinda, yeah.
Tell us where you were.
Heathrow Airport.
So you randomly went up to him and said, can you sign this for me? What did he say to you?
He said no. Simple, no.
So, very rude then.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel? Were you upset? Were you crying?
Didn't really care.
Well, you asked in the first place.
Yeah, true.
Hoff, I'm appalled because still to this day, I base my image, as you can see, on David Hasselhoff, and the fact that he was rude to you, I'm disgusted. I really am. Michael, you've also had an autograph refused. Tell us this horrendous story.
Yes, I was very fortunate to be invited to an Olympic Gala charity dinner, and it was in connection with them putting a bid in for the Olympics, and I happened to be sitting alongside a certain gentleman who was very well known, and I asked Sharon Davis for her autograph, and she turned round to this gentleman I happened to be sitting next to and said, "Doesn't he know I don't do autographs?"
My goodness me. Now, when that was said, what was your reaction?
I was astounded because it was people like us that actually, do go along to these events and support the Olympics.
Disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There were many celebrities who were also present and quite willing, very willing.
Interesting. So who signed autographs on the night then?
Mary Peters, Ainsley Harriott, the boxer, or Audley Harrison.
Audley Harrison, yeah. Sharon Davis said no. Well, I think I've heard enough. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Sharon Davis said no to an autograph? Kelly, just say to the listeners what you just said to me.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Sharon Davis.
Who is she, though?
She was like a sports swimmer, and I used to have a little crush on her.
Sports swimmer?
A sports swimmer. She refused. Sharon Davis?
Maybe she didn't have a pen.
Flip it! No, that's annoyed me. She's on my hit list.
Is she?
Yeah, she is now.
We're calling it the hit list now, are we?
Well, for radio I am, yeah. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 heading northbound, still closed at the moment due to an accident that happened earlier on this morning between junction 11 at Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick. It's looking very slow back to junction 9 at Redbourne. We also believe that the entry slip road heading northbound just at junction 9 and 10 have been closed as well. It's queuing as well on the High Street in Dunstable because of people are trying to divert away from the M1, and very slow moving on the A1M heading southbound between junction 7 for Stevenage and junction 6 for Welland Garden City. Take a look at the M25. That's very heavy moving between junction 18 at Chorleywood and junction 16 for the M40. And the M40 itself, London bound, very slow just before junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handy Cross roundabout. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. It's 8:46. It's Monday, the 15th of September. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The emergency services are dealing with a multiple pile-up on the M1 in Bedfordshire, which has closed the motorway north of Luton. The Hertfordshire Police Commissioner says he disputes an official report which claims PCSOs are being used for things they aren't trained to do. And a man from Clapham has been told by Bedford Borough Council he can't officially change the name of his house to Hardcore Mansions. 08459 455 555. Last 15 minutes of the show. We'll take your calls, but before that, here's Kate with the weather.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a rather grey start for many of us. Bit dull this morning, bit of drizzle out there as well. But already we're starting to see it change. We're getting some thinner areas of clouds, so some brightness, even a sunny spell or two peeking through. And this is the story of the day, really. Could get one or two showers. We've just seen a couple actually out towards parts of Buckinghamshire. One or two of those quite heavy as well. So they're going to come and go through the day. We should get some decent sunshine though, and it will feel fairly warm too. The maximum temperature getting up to around 21 Celsius later on today. Overnight tonight, eventually we'll get some clear spells. Mist and fog likely to develop again. May get a shower, looking unlikely, but it is a possibility. Mist and fog though for tomorrow morning. Minimum temperature 12 Celsius. Once that mist and fog lifts tomorrow, it's a similar day. We'll get some sunny spells, maybe a shower in the afternoon. The temperature staying in the low 20s, and that's your forecast.
Thanks, Kate.
Three Counties Sport isn't just about hearing your team in action.
Seals a famous victory here! What drama we've had!
It's about the managers.
You've got to make the most of your openings, and we perhaps haven't done that, and haven't done it so far this season, if I'm honest.
The players.
We know we need to be better. We're not being complacent. We'll find a solution that will get us playing how we was last season, how the fans expect us to be playing.
And the fans.
I'm getting seriously concerned we could end up back where we started.
Every day, we bring you latest news on your local team.
Wycombe Wanderers remain 5th in League 2 after a 0-0 draw with Bury. Stevenage lost 3-2 at home against York.
Three Counties Sport, keeping you up to date with Luton, Watford, MK Dons, Stevenage and Wycombe every day of the week on BBC Three Counties Radio.
This is Colin Berry.
Excuse me?
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Catherine, you have an update for us on the, well, it sounds like a rather unpleasant situation
Horrible.
on the M1, yeah.
Graham has just given us a call. He's just passed the accident on the M1. He said 3 cars are on their roofs, and it seems to be quite significant fire damage to at least one of those vehicles. So it's very, very nasty indeed. If you are in tailbacks at the moment, perhaps you have a bit more understanding of what's going on, and patience, I think, required.
I have been sent... I've just retweeted a picture from John Shaw on Twitter. Have you seen it?
No.
Go and have a look at it. It's horrible. I thought it was a vegetable. Okay, he said, look what I've just... this was in my garden yesterday, right? I thought it was a vegetable. It is big, long, green tube with kind of circles around it.
Oh, I think that's quite beautiful.
Do you know what it is?
Is it a caterpillar?
It's a big hawk moth caterpillar. It's 7 inches long. That is disgusting.
No, I think that's gorgeous.
Imagine that... Yeah, but imagine that going down your throat.
Well, why would I...
Well, no, you wouldn't put it there, but imagine you're asleep in the garden and it crawls up your nose and you wake up and you've just got this tiny thing sticking up your nose and you pull it out and out and out and out.
OK. This sounds like Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. Why would I be asleep with my mouth wide open?
Oh, yeah, the thing that makes them tell the truth.
But that is like a comedy caterpillar.
Oh, that is making me very...
That looks like a kid drew it. It's brilliant.
That is very, very uncomfortable. We've got caterpillars in our house now because of you.
Yeah.
You told me where we could buy them online. And when they came in this pot, 5 caterpillars in a pot, they were tiny, like maggots. And I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing. They are massive now. And I just know that my youngest is going to take the lid off and shake them around the house.
Well, if you take the lid off, it's still got a sort of seal on it, so it won't make any difference.
Oh, it's flipping horrible. Matt's in Luton. Morning, Matt.
Morning.
Always nice to hear a joyful voice first thing in the morning,
Well,
Matt.
I'm still laughing. I can't believe anybody would pay money for the monkey's signature.
Excuse me?
You are so stupid.
I'm not the stupid one here, Matt.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, don't apologise for it. We deal with your stupidity.
I just cannot believe you've done that.
I've never heard your voice go up.
That's the level of disbelief.
I'll
Someone
do my
squeezing
Johnny
your
Cash
plums?
voice.
Yeah, go on.
I can't believe it.
Oh, it sounded like you had a burning ring of fire.
That's me.
Yes.
And you must have a burning ring of fire, something to sign to get monkey signature.
Why? Have you ever
I'm
asked...
so pleased that Mary shut you down this morning.
She didn't shut me down.
She shut you down because you keep doing it to everybody else.
She didn't shut me down. She did a hit and run. She threw a brick at me, then ran away.
Mary, I hope she's listening.
She is listening because she can't stop listening, and she did a cowardly phone call. Whose autographs have you asked for, Matt?
Paul Walsh, Luton Town.
Oh, flip
my son, he refused my son to sign it. In Sunderland Park Garage it was. And
you asked a man who kicks a ball around, no discernible talent for an autograph.
Exactly, but
flipping
you could imagine
you call
what
me
I
sad.
said to him.
What did you say to him, Matt?
I'd done a Mrs. Brown.
What, you made a really rubbish film?
No.
You dressed as a woman?
Do you want me to say on what Mrs. Brown said to him?
I'm really tempted to, but I'm going to say no.
Let's just imagine a really...
Get him to tell you off air. Go on. Ask him off air what he did. So a football player refused to sign an autograph for Matt's son, and he's now telling Catherine off air what it was that he said. Can he repeat?
Oh, Matt. Oh, Matt. Oh, Matt.
The hands near the hang up button.
Is that... Gosh, I've never seen her blush.
You're all right, Devil Matt. OK, thanks very much. Bye.
Is that a no-no?
She hung up. She didn't even put him back.
What did he say? What did he say? Oh, Matt. Oh, Kath. Really?
Yeah.
Gosh.
He said that.
Can you whisper it in my ear? I'm just going to play... tell you what, hang on a second. I'll find something that we can play. And then you can... hang on a minute. Where is everything? I need to...
You might want a long one. Can you do the boa constrictor?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find... Here we go. Right, OK.
I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor.
Oh, Matt.
I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor.
Oh, Matt.
I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor.
Matt.
And I don't like it very much. Oh, no.
Oh, Matt.
Oh, no. He swallowed my toe. He swallowed my toe.
Matt?
Oh, gee. Oh, gee. He's up to my knee.
Oh, gosh, Matt.
He's up to my knee. Oh, fiddle. Oh, fiddle. He's reached my middle. He's reached my middle. Oh, heck. Oh, heck. He's up to my neck.
What?
He's up to my neck. Oh, dread. Oh, dread. He swallowed my...
Yeah, he did.
Wow. Matt doesn't hold back, does he?
He certainly didn't that time.
Carol's in St Albans. Good morning, Carol.
Morning, Ian.
Hello, what have you got for us?
Flip side.
Sorry?
The flip side.
Oh, yeah.
Years ago, I was at Heathrow Airport working.
Yeah.
And the Osmonds and David Soul came through.
The Osmonds and David Soul. I'm guessing this was the 1970s.
Most probably about 30-odd years ago, yeah.
Yep.
And because when I turned up to collect my passenger, there was all these screaming kids, and I thought, whatever's going on?
Yeah.
And somebody said, oh, it's the Osmonds. And I said, oh, really? You know.
Blimey.
They sent
Osmonds.
their bodyguards to wait for them at the gate, split up, and walk through this mob of girls talking to them.
Oh. Isn't that nice?
I tell you what, they went up in my estimation.
I mean, they were rubbish as a band, although Crazy Horses is an excellent song. But that's nice. And hey, guys, guess what? We pay your wages. We pay your wages.
Yeah.
What did David Soul do? Because I've heard he can be a right grump.
Oh, he did exactly the same.
Good for him.
I have picked up people from the airport, known people,
yeah.
And there again, we pay their wages,
yes.
And they can be right horrible.
Who was the most horrible?
Brian Bennett.
Who?
Brian Bennett, the drummer of the Shadows.
Brian Bennett was miserable. Why?
He was horrible.
Why?
He was one of those people. Don't you know who I am?
Oh no, I don't. Brian Bennett of the Shadows. No, the least famous of the Shadows. Oh dear, Carol. It's unpleasant when they're like that, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, what a shame.
And he sat in, because I was a chauffeur, and he sat in the back of the car with his arms folded and all in a heap, you know, sort of.
And who's been we know the Osmonds were good, so we've had the worst. Who's been the nicest to you personally, Carol?
Actually, it was a law judge.
Oh. Why, did they get you off? Scot-free?
No. He really was. He really was a very pleasant... He was a sir.
Yeah.
And a really very pleasant gentleman.
Well, Carol, that's nice to know. Thank you very much indeed. Brian Bennett of the drummer of the Shadows.
Must be hard being the drummer, though.
Of the Shadows? Down. Be hard to be in the guitarist.
Can't even do the walk. So he can't signify his shadowness with the dance. But yeah, I'd be in a mood if I was the drummer of any band.
I do. It's a weird one, you know. I don't think you should go up to people in restaurants and ask for their autograph. I don't think that you should go up to people
with kids.
Yeah, with kids. I think if
toilets as well. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
Surely.
Well, as you know, I got famously got Al Jardined. That's that's Al Jardine of the Beach Boys, who I saw at an airport, and I got really nervous. Big Beach Boys fan. I had to suck up a lot of courage, shall we say, to go and speak to him. And I did. And I followed him down an escalator. And I went, excuse me, Mr. Jardine. Right, no one's going to recognise this guy. He's the rhythm guitarist from the Beach Boys. Who's going to recognise him apart from me?
And his mum.
Excuse me, Mr. Jardine. And he had his back to me, but I could see his face. And his shoulders sank. His head went down. He went, yeah, what do you want? And I just went, all thoughts of an autograph and a photograph went out of my head. I said, I just wanted to say thanks very much for all the music. Thanks.
Oh, you did it again?
No.
Because you did that to Daltrey as well.
No, well, Daltrey, I didn't know what to say, because Daltrey was fine.
I really liked you in The Who.
I could have asked Daltrey for a selfie that night and he would have given me one.
Of course he would. He was a
selfie.
very pleasant chap. Very tiny.
But he's a wee fella. But Al Jardine from the Beach Boys, not a thing. Not a thing.
You should have told him, hey, Al, lose the mood and the tood.
I'll send you... There's a brilliant video. I'll retweet this again. Someone else has had beef with Busey. Boy, there's a name of a TV series, Channel 5, if you're interested. And someone else has had beef with Busey over an autograph, and he made a film of it, and it's very, very funny, where his mate at the end goes... Gary, man, you haven't made a film in 30 years. You've got no right to be like this. But we're using fruitier language.
Wow.
It's very funny.
Well, that's what you should have said instead of going, oh, sorry, and ditching your DVD.
You know, he said, I won't sign an autograph for you now.
Yeah.
Have you asked him since?
No, he doesn't sign them. He does it for money. I've since discovered. Here's tomorrow's phone-in. As well as playing a David Soul song in the first hour.
Who?
Exactly. Don't give up on us, baby.
Oh, your mum will like that.
Or Silver Lady.
She won't like that.
No, we'll play Silver Lady. It's a good song. As well as playing that and your David Soul story, this is the David Soul special tomorrow. Let's try and get him on. That's actually happening. We'll also talk about, have you ever stood up to celebrities? Has anyone ever had an argument with a celebrity? Go knock yourself out.
We had a bit of a row. But you're not really a celebrity, are you?
You will, though.
08459 455 555. Not the phone number for me, we're finished. It's the phone number for David Prever.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 heading northbound at the moment, it's still closed due to an earlier accident between junction 11 at Dunstable Road and junction 12 for Flitwick. There is a congestion back to junction 9 at Redbourne at the moment. Also believe that the entry Slip Road northbound just at junctions 9 and 10 have been closed as well. And taking a look at the A1M, there's severe delays there heading southbound between junction 7 for Stevenage and junction 6 for Welwyn Garden City. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, thank you very much indeed. That's it, that's your lot. Keep listening to the station to find out what's happening with the M1. Justin, Curls, Kath, thank you very much. Till tomorrow at 6 from us. Ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Thank you to Iain and the team. What a nightmare on the M1 this morning. We're all over it. We'll let you know what's going on over the next few hours. Stay with us. It's the JBS show. I'm David Prever for Jonathan Vernon-Smith. At 9, it's the big phone-in now.